Okay. All right, got a puppy here trying to. All right, Dad just started the stream, so let's go lay down, guys. You guys want to go outside? It's sunny out there. There's some sunshine out there. There's sunshine out there today. Not super windy. There's a little breeze. Easy. Oh, good guy. You guys are good boys. Let's get this live chat going. Live chat. All right, we're there. All right, all glory to the Father, all glory to the Son. What a powerful time to be on this rock here and to be a witness to this age and these days. So I'll take that call. Oh, something. Let's okay. Phone don't ring, but yeah, that's rather ironic, isn't it? Ironic. So everything is not what it seems, but what a blessing to have eyes to see and to see through the deception and the forwarding, the perverting of all these things, and to be blessed with the reality of the truth, to be able this understanding is more than any one person could ever ask for, a brother or sister. It's what a blessing. So knowledge is enough, right? We don't live in a realm where it's this is not heaven on earth. This is we are ruled by the evil, because this world is given unto Satan and a third of the angels, but that doesn't mean we can't see the glory of God in this, and it doesn't mean that he's not here and he's not with us. He will take the evil from this earth. That is his promise. He will do that with the fire, the promise of the rainbow. So again, it was a large, overwhelming feeling again this morning about the blessings of the time that we're in, because I know that the times that are ahead, there's nothing in that book that says it's going to get better. You know what I mean? Like, it's not going to get all things that we have tough times, but things that doesn't mean it's the end of the world. 1 second here. Where am I from? I'm from this corrupt dust called can't corkscrew and spin me, but I'm from this corrupt dust. I'm a man of the land and from the corrupt dust, and I'll go of the land and soil, and I'll go back to that dirt. But I was born in the city of angels, Iran. Cool. All right. Yeah. Americans hate Iran, but Americans are ignorant. So God's people are everywhere. He says from all flesh. So people in Iran, Iraq, Afghanistan, anywhere. And it ain't about a religion. It's about who he chooses and who he calls. So he takes whoever. It's not It's not our doing. He chooses who he wants. If I did not call after their hearts to seek after me, not one of them would. They're such idolaters. Yeah, I don't fall for the nonsense. Iran is a beautiful country, absolutely. And you have a lot of subterranean stuff there. So that'll be good for the future. Iran is very aware of what's going on right now. So, yep, Americans are ignorant and they'll pay the price for that. It's okay. God's passing his judgments already on all nations. There's nowhere to escape judgments. He don't care. I don't believe in race. One race, the human race. Human race. So we need to act like humans. From Russia, outstanding. Another beautiful country that's getting ready for what's coming. Russia has more icebreakers than any other nation, brothers and sisters. They're very aware of this time and age that we're in. I would like to go to Iran. I'd go to Iran. Heck yeah. That'd be a beautiful place. I'm kind of stuck here until these final, I don't think I'll have more than a year or so, 2 more here, and I'll be able to travel anywhere I want in the world. I mean, I could now, but kind of need to stay here for these events that are coming. Most people, again, they know about it a little bit more outside of America, but they're not. The rich and the elite are getting ready for it, but the most Americans aren't doing anything. So, but the days are here that people are preparing for these celestial events and these cyclical events that happen time and immemorial. So what a beautiful time again to be a witness to these revolutions or revelations, if you will, around the sun or whatever model you're in. Typical. Yeah, I'm not your typical American. I hate America. America's a trash nation that stole and raped the nation of its. Don't call me no typical American. I hate America. America's a dirty, filthy nation that's raped the nations of 800 military bases around the world. Don't call me no typical American. You'll find I'm actually probably one of the standout, set apart people that don't fall for this nonsense. I've served this beast system. Yeah, your Palestinians are committing atrocities just like Israel is. Both of you, all of you are, all of you countries out there. One race, the human race. Don't pray for Palestine. They're committing atrocities. Don't pray for Israel. They're committing atrocities. He said, let vengeance be mine, saith the Lord. So don't bring your filth and nonsense in here. I don't know how to pray for God's will. Pray for God's will. Both countries are committing atrocities. Russia's committing atrocities. Beautiful country in Russia. Ukrainians committing atrocities. America, he said, let vengeance be mine. What do you not understand? Because that's that old Pharisaical, Pharisees all perverting. And no, he came back and made a new covenant. It's not an eye for an eye. So anything else, I rebuke it. So don't come in here and spew venom that I'll cast out your unclean aletheia, your unclean truth. Both countries are wrong. So, but anyways, no, I like it. I appreciate it. Hallelujah. I don't like it. It's not godly. Remember, under this new covenant, under this New Testament, we are not to go out and we're supposed to turn our cheek. And that's why America is an atrocity founded on a stolen land that was never even, Christopher Columbus didn't discover America. So nobody call me no typical American. I am not your two. I'm not even an American. I'm a man of the land and soil. Remember? I hate America. America sucks. There's good people in America. There's good people in Iran. There's good people in Russia. See, I don't do that. You're not going to put a label. I hate borders. I hate races like that. There's one race, the human race. So any other talk of race is ignorance to me. That's not, God didn't create races. He created one race. Grow up. Stop being a child. Quit being divided. It's divide and conquer. It's a tactic of war. You're letting mammon. You can't serve two masters, mammon and God. So it's God that speaks through how I feel. It's his testament that I'm under, that I must agape, I must love and walk and follow 2 John 6 in his commandments. So I don't care. Yeah, call me the typical American. You'll get me spewing on but thanks for the comment, because nope, not the typical American. Haven't been, I don't think ever. I'm not even a typical human being. I'm not from this. Where am I from? I don't feel like I'm from this earth, but yeah, I was created from this corrupt dust. And I'll go back to it. So where am I from? I'm a man of the land and soil at this point, just this temporary meat suit having this physical experience, but an eternal being spiritual. And I'll leave this meat suit behind. It's not what I have, what I hear. It's what I've, my works don't get me to, faith without works is dead, but no, it's the fruit that I yield. Am I walking and following in? Am I agape? And am I cutting off the things of this world? Am I doing and conforming to the things that he did? So I'm an opposition of this adversary of war and fighting and spending all this money when it could be spent on other things like children that are starving. $1 that's spent on war anywhere in the world, we all failed as a race. Get it? One race. So, anyways, I understand. I ain't trying to change sheep into goats, or goats into sheep. God chose who he chose from the foundation of the world. Porizo, right? The backbone of the channel, predetermined for the horizon, who he chose from the darkness, this corrupt dust that I said it was born of, and we'll go back to, and he chooses who he chose from this dust. He's the only thing that exists without darkness. So stand on the ality of the truth. It's what sets us free. He said, I am the ality, I am the truth. So the way, the hados, the narrow way, the narrowing of self, conforming, not doing the things of this world. So yeah, it just gave me a little bounce. So I don't mind just making a bounce, but I need not to do that. I need to stay focused and remember the blessing that I have. I don't want to be called an American. I don't want to be called anything. I don't want a label. Don't put a label on me. I'm nothing. I'm not my name. I'm not none of that. I'm an eternal being. Again, I'm from the past and the future. I don't never end. I remember my dad telling me that so many times. How do you get by without the system destroying you? Because I am my own system. I create my own power. I live on my own property. I have my own, and I do my own thing. I don't contribute with society. That's how you do it. You got to check out of the system. Dorito the system. Bud Light it. Evolve. If enough people check out of the system, that's exactly what's going to happen with America. One day, Americans going to wake up and it's going to be obsolete because the whole world's going to left this system behind. So, the coming judgments. That's what I entitled this. We'll probably stand up and do a lesson. I might do it a little bit later. I will stand up and do the lesson again, though. It needs to be done. That's what I'm here to do. I'm here to do his works, not mine. Remember, who shall ever come after me? Let them deny themselves, take up your cross daily, and follow after me. So I must, remember, I got to do what he said. Follow, conform to my image, endure to the end to be saved. It's just in his word. I can't do it. I can't even be mad at him for like an hour. And then I'm back studying again. So it is what it is. I have to remember the blessings that I've been given to this, being shown what oligas, that's the Greek word for a puny, a tiny number, have been shown. So I love to be able to share that blessing with others, and hope that the Most High and the Son has removed the scales from their eyes and give them that hearing ear, and that it doesn't fall on deaf ears. But that's not for me to choose. He chooses who he chooses to have a hearing ear, and he's the one who removes the scales from the eyes, that those he chooses, not me. So I am only just the messenger, just bringing this unbelievable, powerful time. What are you doing? Psst. Hey, get them, boy. Don't get in the wood box. Get out of the wood box. Hey, you don't need to get up there. You go back outside? Want to go back outside with the puppies? What are you looking at? My outside kitten's inside. So, yeah, get out of the system if you can. Be your own system. Become your own central bank. That's how you get out of the system right there. Psst. Hey. No. Come on. I want you outside. Where'd you go? What are you doing, chicken boy? You get out of the system, you get yourself a cat that'll protect your house. Make sure there's no sage rats or no rabbits or no, we don't have no snakes out here, huh? And then protect the house. So I can let this guy out. He's just looking around. I don't know what he's checking out everything here. All right. There's some sunshine. Go get some sunshine. Go get some sunshine. Do you believe if the U.S. and China are on a collusion cause? That can't be. Yeah, the dollar's already tanked, and it's all about precious metals. In the end, China's a net importer of gold, and they don't export any metals. So, yep, already happening. The shift from the east to west. So, any of these things, like I said, Americans going to wake up. It's going to be unavoidable. Just like what I said, enough people check out of the system, go around it. The current system dries up, becomes obsolete. You know. People don't think that. But that's the way it goes. That's the way it goes. You just, enough people don't want to participate. You know, a business has to close down, right? It's not rocket science. You know, can't pay the bills. 20% of Americans would just stop filling out a W-2. You wouldn't be able to fund the federal government anymore. It'd just dry up. But America's a bunch of bootlickers that love the government, and 40% of the people work for the government. So there you go. 40% of the people are already a bunch of bootlickers anyway. So if 11% of the rest of the public licks the boot, then we see how we're already screwed. We don't get anywhere, aren't we? Perverted and twisted. That was not a nice word to say. I apologize. Just, I feel like we're there, you know. These politicians, poly meaning many, tick, you know, politics, tick meaning bloodsuckers, many bloodsuckers, politicians. These people don't care about the people, and they've shown their face. So they'll revel at Mr. Trump when they'll decorate his house with the sun god and Satan, the bringer of the disease and the cure of disease, and they'll thump on the hopium and smash back that swamp Kool-Aid that they thought was going to get drained. You know, drink that Kool-Aid. Swamp Kool-Aid and they even seem more creepy than Mr. Creepy Joe, not Sleepy Joe, Creepy Joe. So creepy Trump. So they revel after a man who decorates his house with Satan, the sun god, and calls himself a Christian. So that's how twisted and perverted, this country is at this point in time. That's okay. It's all in the Word of God. It's all going by the scripture. It's just a repeat, nothing new under the sun. So, again, focus on the blessings of the time and the age that we're in, and to be able to have the understanding of the age and what the whole world has missed is it's just out of anything that I could have ever imagined that I would have ever been able to exist. I know when I leave this life and we look back and go, man, there's sometimes you really just act like an idiot when you were so blessed. You know, the knowledge you had. Who cares about what you had or didn't have, or what you were given by the aletheia of the truth, that tree of knowledge, the understanding the whole world was not paying attention to. But as you paid attention to the word, you saw what the world didn't see. You know, so, you know. What a blessing. I guess I don't ever need another thing, right? I'd be stupid to ask for anything. He already knows what I need. He already knows what I want. He wrote and created all things, beginning and the end, Alpha and Omega. Everything it ever was, everything it ever will be, everything written, everything not written, good and evil. He does it all after his own counsel and for his own pleasure. So who am I to question him, right? He is the way, the truth, and the light, the hodos, the aletheia, and the horizo, right? So can't change what was already predetermined, who he chose and who he did not. He's either going to throw you in hell, which is most people. Very few, only gas find their way and narrow that self so they can enter through that straight gate. Most people enter through that broad and wide, broad way, the big city lights. And he commands us through his apostle Matthew to enter through that straight gate. So what a beautiful message the gospel is, and to know that we have to go through tribulation. We have to go through suffering. It's not this other Jesus that we were warned of by the apostle Paul, but they will come preaching another gospel and another Jesus. So more than one Jesus in the Bible, and we were warned, and people don't. There are many Jesuses, right? Many will come in my name saying they are Christ. It came from his own mouth. But, I'm crazy if I say there's another Jesus, right? Well, that's part of the suffering. That's part of carrying your cross. Remember, who shall ever come after you? Let them deny themselves, take up your cross daily. Yep, conform to my image. The ones I also did foreknow that I predestined to conform, follow after me. So, what a powerful time. What a day of these age, of this revelation that we're in, this age of the apocalypse, this age of the lifting of the veil, the ages where the lies have been removed and that aletheia, that truth is standing upright, doesn't need erected like a Nimrod or a phallic or a Washington monument, or a Christmas tree, whatever you want to call it. It stands upright on its own. It's been covered by lies, but it's been exposed. That is apocalypse. That means to reveal, to remove. Revelation, to reveal the truth. Pull off the cover, lift the veil. We're already in the apocalypse. We're already in Revelation. Whoa. I love it. Thank you, Father, for this blessing. I don't deserve this knowledge and filthy rags. Why did you give me this truth? I'm not deserving it. I hope that I can share it and send it out to the hearing ears that you have. And that when I stand up and I show the people the whiteboard, I show them all the things that you've revealed to me, that they have that seeing eye, the scales are removed from their eyes, and it will reveal, you will reveal, they will have an apocalypse of revelation. They will see the truth that's been standing there all along. What a beautiful time, brothers and sisters. If you pay attention, there's been celestial and heavenly signs. I talk about the parable of, there are many agricultural signs, in scripture. It talks about the fig tree sign that I've sent out here, of the reset in the nation of that 4 years. If it does not bear fruit, to cut it down. So all these things have been able to reveal the Shiloh sign, the coming of Nineveh, 40 days and the destruction, and what has been foreshadowed on this ground, this eclipse, all these things that have been revealing to the world, because we are on the interweb and it's going out to the whole wide world, right? Is it world, W-H-I-R-L-E-D, or you can't corkscrew and spin me, but it is going out to the interweb, correct? Careful, it's a net, right? The worldwide net. So anyways, what a beautiful time, to see the world sleep on the celestial markers, and to have that blessing, to be able to declare it to the world and show them over and over and over and over and over, and now show them the foreshadowing what is to come. This sign of Jonah, 3 days of the belly of the whale, and the resurrection out of the tomb. As Christ was in the tomb for 3 days, so was Jonah in the belly of the whale, and then it was spat out on the land to foreshadow the coming destruction of Nineveh, and all these things, these signs that have been foreshadowed on the ground. As people pay attention to shadows on the ground, he tells you to look up. So there are scriptural signs, there are agricultural signs, there are celestial signs, there are many signs that have been left for those that are wise and have a hearing ear and eyes to see that the scales have been removed, but not very many. Oligas is his flock. Remember in the book of Luke, he tells us, fear not, Fear not, little flock, puny flock, tiny flock. Oligas is the original word in the original Greek text. If you read the Greek, study the interlinear, study the original word, study it in the original tongue, dialectus, glossa, foreign dialect, glossary, yes, and the gloss of tongue, vocabulary, vernacular, whatever you call it in this day and age, English, whatever tongue you speak, but study it in the original tongue. Study it in the original glossa, in the original text, and you'll find that the word says oligas. His teeny tiny puny number is in the lexicon. Thank you so much. All glory to the Father. This is his message, not mine. I told you I'm filthy rags. I don't deserve this. I'm a whiner a lot of the times, and I shouldn't, because just because I'm alone and I'm isolated. You're supposed to be set apart. You're supposed to be in the world, but not of this world. I don't have no girlfriend. I don't want a girlfriend. I want somebody I can equally yoke with, but it doesn't matter what I want. It's what he wants. So I have to continue to take up my cross daily, deny self, and he provides, and he always does. He always does. So I hope that I can even be worthy of the knowledge and convey it to the ears that he chose to hear. It was already pre-written what he chose me to say, because it's his words. I don't want my words to be my own. I want my words to be his words. I want to die saying his words. So I'm not worthy. I'm not. Give me just 1 second. All right, again, brothers and sisters, none of us are worthy of his kingdom. We're all filthy rags, and he gives all of us a different measure. We don't all get the same measure, and he pours out a different measure on each one of us. That's why we need to let his will be done and not pray for things that he already knows. He creates and writes all things, so he provides for those that walk and follow in his commandments. Those that love him, he will crush the self and beat the self out of them, because it's not about self, it's about agape, it's about who loves him. I don't have any purpose in life. I'm told to walk and follow in his commandments. My purpose is not It's not a question of what I want or what I'm here to serve the agape, the New Testament, and to convey the message. That's all I have to do what he tells me, to deny self. So that's what I'm here to do. That's my purpose, is to serve the Father, walk and follow in his commandments, 2 John and 6, and to go out and spread that message with others as he conveys me to do. Woe if you do not go share that blessing of this message that I share with you, and try to share as often as I can. I've been basically just putting the rest of my life on it. Well, it doesn't matter. The message is more important to me right now than anything material. So my purpose is not, it doesn't matter. It's not about me. It's about, again, my words. I don't not want my words to be my own. I want to die with his words coming out of my mouth, them ripping, being a martyr, just as the apostles were martyred. Every one of them were martyred because they said his word. They died saying his words. Their words were not their own. Matthew, who shall ever come after me, let them deny themselves, take up their cross daily and follow after me. So that's what he chose. It's not what I want. So, brothers and sisters, those that are in the narrow way, those that he gave a hearing ear and eyes to see, you should be able to pay attention, that he's revealed to you that the body of Christ is your brothers and your sister and your mother, those that do the will of the Father. And I'm hoping that there's others out there that have an understanding of the beautiful blessings of the time and the signs that he has shown us, not only here on this earth, but in the celestial markers. Oligos, a teeny tiny of the fraction of the whole earth even understands that we're in this new age of the apocalypse, this new age of revelation, this new age of where the lies have been exposed and the truth is now standing out there upright again, not like a Christmas tree or a phallic or a Washington monument or but it is the truth. It doesn't need erected. It's always been standing there. It's always been. Remember, he said, I am the Aletheia. So in this age of revelation that we passed into, the heavens declare the passing of an age. I'm not declaring it. The heavens declare it. Remember in the book of Psalms, he said that that firmament, the heavens declare his handiwork, right? It's in the firmament. So I'm just declaring the message to what the heavens have said, and that we can see it in his book. There's so many signs that he says that at the end of the age, knowledge, busos, bathos, knowledge will be increased. And we've seen that. And so there are people who have come to this revelation, this apocalypse, and have come to this aletheia, this tree of knowledge, this truth, and they're not paying attention to the things of this world. It doesn't matter. It's not about the flesh. It's about serving what they see. That's idolatry, but serving and loving God and loving his commandments and walking and following in them, and not be in the world, but be not of it. So what a blessing it is to be set apart, to be personally on this 40-acre parcel, and to have had the last 30 years plus to study at an unreal pace. Sometimes only sleep for just a couple hours a day, and then study the rest of the day. Study, always studying, always. The time, the blessing he's given me to be able to sit down and put it, into my eyes and my ears and be able to discern these things through decades. And what the bathos, the busos that I've been shown, the knowledge that I've been able to see and have been revealed, the things, the aletheia that he wrote on my heart, that I feel, again, it's not about me, that he makes me seek these things. Decades ago, yeah, I thought I wanted to give my life to God. Even when I was really young, that's what I wanted, but I didn't. It wasn't me. It was him calling. None of this is me. It's not me doing it. So it isn't about me, and it shouldn't be about self. That's what he wants us to cut off, is self. That is idolatry. Porneia in the Greek, latrio, to serve, ido, what you see, idol. So he doesn't want us to serve self. He wants us to serve him. Walk and follow in my commandments, John 2 and 6. So many are called, but few are chosen. Oligos, brothers and sisters, oligos are chosen to his kingdom and will have their names called out in the wedding feast of the lambs. There will be a blotting out, as he blotted out the handwriting of ordinances and made this all spiritual, brothers and sisters. This is a spiritual battle and a spiritual testament that we are under. He paid the bride price. We are not under the flesh anymore. He paid it in the flesh with blood. And we're not under that flesh commandment written on tables of stone, but now sprinkled, because the blotting out in the book of Colossians 2 and 14 made it all spiritual. He paid the flesh price. We must pay in spirit. It's a spiritual battle. Put on the armor of God. That is the belief where one does and one does not, that divides a household. A woman's enemies would be one of their own household, when one believes and then one does not. Do not think that he comes to bring peace on this earth. He comes to bring that sword of division that divides that household that I'm telling you about belief, as he says through his apostle Matthew in his book, Matthew 10:34. It's very important we understand that there will be a blotting out. He made amendments, and he will blot your name out of that book if you add. You will receive of all the plagues that are written in that book. Take even the smallest, add the jot or tittle, take it away, and your name will be blotted out. There'll be a blotting it out. Do not become complacent. Do not become punch drunk on the cares of this world, brothers and sisters. I feel guilty. This loneliness that you guys see on this channel, you should never see that. It should be more upright and feel understanding how blessed. But I do thank you, brothers and sisters, for helping me lean, to have something other than him to lean on in my isolation. But I realized again that he sets apart. He sets apart from the foundation of the world who he chose, his teeny tiny oligos flock, and only those that are willing to go through suffering since this New Testament. And then you're saved by grace and salvation. Otherwise, you went by the 613 laws, statutes, and commandments, and you weren't saved by grace. That was the law. This is the testament we're under now. He upheld it, fulfilled it, and gave us amendments, and it's now spiritual, sprinkled on fleshy tables of our hearts, brothers and sisters. This is a spiritual battle that I told you to Ephesians. He tells us 2 times, as he always declares 2 witnesses, to put on that whole armor of God. So be careful. Again, a blotting out, brothers and sisters. I'm warning you, please do not become complacent. He wants to find our loins girded. He is our prize. He is the direction we are supposed to be headed in. He is the direction that he is our prize. The things of this earth are not our prize. He is the one why he wants to find our loins girded in his service when he returns. Nobody knows the day or the hour, brothers and sisters. So cat's away, the mice will play. You're one of those people at work, when the boss goes off, you go start dinking off on your job. When he comes, hurry up, the boss is back to work. He's not going to come like he warns. He will come like a thief in the night. He will overtake those that are sleeping. Do not become drunk and fall asleep in this world, brothers and sisters. This sweet, easy, other wide doctrine that's preached, that the Apostle Paul warned you of. It will come preaching another gospel, in that many, as he said, but that other Jesus, he said, many will come in my name saying they are Christ. So he's not some little kitty devil in red spandex leotards with a pokey tail, and that's childish. He mirrors. He's an exact replica. Is this a real or is it fake? Is it real or is it fake? Is this a real one? Is it fake? Hell, is this a real one? Maybe it's just the most fine, because remember, he's going to look just like a copy of, he's not some red leotarded. Oh, that's awesome. I have to say that every time. He's not some red leotarded daemonion, distributive fortune devil with a pokey tail and horns. He's a copycat of Christ. Many will come in my name saying they're Christ, and they will be deceived. So many enter through the broad and wide path, brothers and sisters. Many enter through that wide gate, but only those that deny self, only those that take up their cross spiritually are condemned, crucified by the world, hated, will enter through that narrowing of self. And it's a process like salvation or repentance or baptism. It's not just a one-time thing. It takes a lifetime. Sometimes it takes more for some, more than others. Remember, the Apostle Paul warned us that we have an outer man and an inner man, and we need to cut it off, circumcise the flesh, circumcise the outer man, not literally the male genitalia, but spiritually cut off the flesh that he warned us that just does not want to stop sinning. Remember, there's Christ in you. He's blameless. He's spotless. He cannot sin. Please cut off that outer flesh spiritually, brothers and sisters. You were told by the Apostle Paul. You were warned by Christ. He gave you many warnings. So we must be very wise and gentle, meek, and not fall for the things of this world that we see all around us, as there's chaos everywhere and will continue to erode. We're not going into easier times. This is why he tells you to sell your cloak and buy a sword. A sword that's not a literal sword, brothers and sisters. Remember, do not think that I came to bring peace on this earth. I came to bring a sword of division that will divide a household, where one believes and another does not. I came to divide. A mother against her daughter, a son against his father, a mother-in-law against her daughter-in-law, a man's enemies to be enemies of his own household, where one believes and another does not. And that belief is the sword of division that divides that household, brothers and sisters. Is spiritual. Do not fall for this other Jesus and this other gospel. Do not fall for this other sword as a physical. Anytime you pick up a physical sword, you live by the sword, you die by the sword. This is a spiritual battle, brothers and sisters. There's no physical mark. There's no physical anything. He paid the physical price. It is a spiritual battle that we are under. Put on the whole armor of God, brothers. If you read the word, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. The helmet of salvation. Please, brothers and sisters, do not fall for this flesh. He sent me to declare this message. There will be a blotting out. It's in his word. He tells me to do this. It's in his word. We have to do this. Woe if I do not. Don't boast because I know it, but woe if I don't go tell people. His body is my brothers, my sister, and my mother, correct? My Father in heaven commands me with a woe, and I don't want to be on the other end of that woe. So I don't know what he's commanding you, but this is what in his word he commands me through his word to do. So I'm giving you a warning, sending out a warning of the blotting out, as he made changes and amendments. He'll make it changes and amendments to those who understand pro horizo, those he predetermined for the rise, and he pulled from the corrupt dust their sin that we were born of. We'll go back to from the corrupt dust, and we will go back to this corrupt dust. But before we do, we have a narrowing of self. He commands us to enter through that narrowing. Oligas will find that narrow path and a narrowing of self, the process that it takes to enter through a straight gate. You cannot enter through a straight gate unless theolobos, you've been pinched down. Theolobo, pushed down on both sides. You got to be hated by the world. He says, if you were hated by the world, remember, they hated me first. So you should find comfort in his word, not of the world, not the things of this world. He commands us, if you deny me in front of your friends and your family of the world, I'll deny you in front of my Father. We need to carry that cross daily. He commands us to. Through his apostle again in the book of Matthew, who shall ever come after me, let them deny themselves. See, there it is. No idolatry. You cannot have the things of this world, the self. Cut it off, circumcise it. The outer man, the self, the flesh, the things of this world. Listen to that Christ in you, that voice inside your head that's been there since you were a child. Listen to it. It'll tell you what you're doing right, wrong. Remember, it did that when you were a little child. The voice of understanding, the age of accountability. It's been there since you were a child. It's the Ruach HaKodesh, not some stupid Disney story, Jiminy Cricket conscious. You don't have no conscious. You have the Ruach HaKodesh inside you. It's the Holy Spirit that told you, don't take little Jenny's bike. Her mom's going to come out her day. That's always been there, brothers and sisters. But at one point in time, it turned on. So from that time, the judgments, brothers and sisters, I warn you, if you found this truth, this aletheia, and he showed it to you, and you understand that there is an elect, a tiny, teeny, oligos flock. We're not a determiner of whether we're been written from the foundation of the world or not. Those he chose from that darkness and pulled from that sin into his light, the horizo. Those that were imprisoned in that darkness, the division day and night, dark and the light, pulls from the darkness into his horizo, his horizon, his light. He chooses it. But there will be a blotting out, brothers and sisters. There will be a blotting out. Please, he can make amendments. So if you want to have your name called out in that wedding feast of the lambs, do not become punch drunk of the woes of this world and the cares, because that's how you mix the things of this world, sin, with sweet and easy peasy other doctrine, and you will become punch drunk. Remember, it's a denial of self daily. We must be condemned. We must be hated by the world. Remember, he said, if you were hated by the world, right? If you love by this world, you be hated by my Father. So if you're hated by the world, find that comfort in him. Remember, he said they hated me before they hated you. So that's what we're supposed to do, is conform to his image. Does the world hate you? Are you taking up your cross daily? Is he your commander? Are you narrowing yourself? Are you an idolater? We all are, but are you cutting it off? So, who shall ever come after me? Let them deny themselves. This is the gospel, brothers and sisters. This is what Christ came back, is to make sure that his messengers would send out this message of the gospel through his apostles in the book of Matthew, in the book of Luke. It's throughout Scripture. But only those that can deny self and narrow self. Theolobo, pitched down. Does your friends hate you? Does your family hate you? Remember, you're not supposed to be loved by the world. If you're loved by the world, he said, you be hated by my Father. They don't teach this in houses made by hands. This is the true gospel of Christ Jesus. The narrowing of self. Deny self and take up your cross. A cross they condemned him. He was crucified because he wouldn't do the halakha, the Haggadah, the perverted law of the world at the time that he perverted his law. And he went up in opposition to that law, called him out and said, you do the works of your father, the devil. They called him out as the synagogues of Satan. He was in opposition, as we are an apostasy to him if we do not oppose their laws. We live by that law, then we will be judged by that law we go by. It's not hard. It's not religion. So you live by the sword, you'll die by the sword, where one believes and the other does not, right? So be careful, brothers and sisters. That blotting out, I warn you, it's a commandment. We have to not do the things of this world, and that's why they hated him so much that they stuck him like a pig. Remember? Bled out. Blood and water all over. The price he paid. The crown of thorns that was shoved into his skull. Every single beard, hair, by I'm sure the handful plucked right from his face. The holes in his hands, the holes in his feet. Can you imagine being able to breathe by raising up on the balls of your nailed feet? The only way you could get get a breath of air is to be stand up on your nailed feet to get a breath of air. That's it. That's the only way you could get air to enter in your lungs. This is how they crucified, the price that he paid in the flesh, so you wouldn't have to pay that price in the flesh, right? Remember how they kill you is they come to you and they break your legs, so you couldn't raise up on the balls of your feet and you couldn't get that air into your lungs. That's the true crucifixion. That's true Roman torture. I don't know, probably maybe one or two or maybe three, maybe there's 10 priests in the world, pastors, deacon, reverends, even understand what a crucifixion was. They think Christ carried a cross. Christ didn't carry no cross. Blasphemy. Blasphemy, all these heads, all these talking heads. That's all they are, is a bunch of 501c3 talking heads. They have no idea what the price that Christ paid in the flesh, brothers and sisters. But remember, he paid that price in the flesh for you. It's all spiritual. I want you to understand what they did to him, so you understand that law that he paid in the flesh and put this and made it now spiritual, blotted out the handwriting of ordinances in the book of Colossians 2:14. As Moses was given the law, it was pounded out, the 10 commandments, on to the tablets, tables of stone. Once was written on tables of stone is now blotted out. The handwriting of ordinances is now sprinkled with the blood of the lamb that he paid the price when they stuck him like a pig. Yes, the blood of the lamb that he paid is now sprinkled with that blood on the fleshy tables, not of stone, but now tables of our hearts. And it's now a spiritual battle. This is the gospel. This is what the price that Christ came back to pay for his bride. And you don't find this taught in houses made by hands. They want to tell you, just put some money in the basket. God loves everybody, or the church is getting raptured. And you were warned himself, many will come in my name saying they are Christ. The Apostle Paul warned us of another Jesus. That is not the Christ of the crucified, the anointed, the Hamashiach. I am Shiloh, the only begotten son of the Lamb that David declared the Lamb. Aries, the Ram, born of Bethlehem, as David was born of Bethlehem, the star of Bethlehem, the star of David. The heavens declared him as the king. Shiloh, the scepter shall not depart from Shiloh, the lion king from tribe of Judah. Remember, sprang out of Judah from the house of David until Shiloh returns. It's written in the stars. It's written in his book, brothers and sisters. If he's shown you this aletheia, it's infallible. Cannot be. No weapon formed against you. No fiery darts will penetrate that armor that I tell you, that word of God that he puts on. It's his word. It's infallible. There's no cheeks in the armor, no weak spots, no nothing. Put on the whole armor of God, as he tells you in his book of Ephesians 6, twice. Finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord. May the power of his might. Put on the whole armor of God, that you be able to stand against these wild, lying, daemonion, distributor of lies and fortunes, demons and devils. Put on the whole armor of God, that you be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. For we wrestle not against idolatry, self. We wrestle not against porneia, latrio, to serve, idol, to see. We wrestle not against flesh, self, cut it off, circumcising. We wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, powers, the rulers of the darkness of this world, spiritual wickedness in high places. Wherefore I say unto you, put on the armor of God. Twice, as two witnesses, he tells you to put it on. And if you understand what he's telling you, no weapon formed against you will prosper. Oh, you'll go through suffering. Oh, you'll be condemned by the world, but not by the armor of God. No weapon. And when you pass through that book of judgments, you won't hear that, depart from me, I never knew you, you worker of iniquity. I can't tell you, I'm not passing judge you on there, but there will be oligos. Most will hear, depart from me, I never knew you, you worker of iniquity, correct? Oligos will hear, faith in, oh, wise and faithful servant. So he always declares two witnesses in his word, doesn't he? Hallelujah. There's always a sister chapter if you know where to find it. Seeking ye shall find, asking ye shall receive, knock. The tree of knowledge, and I will come sup with you. So I hope he's overcoming you, brothers and sisters, in this time. It's a beautiful time to be a witness to this celestial age, these celestial markers and these celestial heavenly markers that have been left for us. Awake, not punch drunk of the cares of this world, but awake, looking up, wise and faithful, loins girded in his service, with Maranatha until he returns. Extra oil, not paying attention to the foolish virgin, sending them to the store now. We're past that time. I know it's hard to do, but brothers and sisters, he wants to find our loins and girded, and we need to have that extra oil. So keep putting it up. Remember, the eye, it's the lamp of the body, and it can't be filled with both dark and light, right? Because if it's filled with darkness, then the whole body is filled with darkness, the whole vessel, the whole lamp. And if it's filled with light, then the whole body, the whole vessel, the whole lamp is filled with light, and you can't have both. So I hope you're putting up good, wise, not doing these things of this world, because that's what's pleasing to him. Don't do the things that's pleasing to the world. Do the things that are pleasing to him. Cast off the works of darkness. Put on the whole armor of God, brothers and sisters. Cut off self. Deny self. Cut it off. He's told you. Carry your cross daily. It's a daily cross. I hope you're suffering every single day. I hope this world hates you. That's right, brothers and sisters. That's the true gospel. Deny themselves. Take up their cross daily. Follow after me. Your commander will command you to do it. You won't even be able to deny self. You won't. You'll do it because he's your commander. He's the one who calls his bride to his self. Him, the only one that exists without darkness, not idolatry, blameless, without sin. The only sovereign anything to ever, the only true free thing in existence that has freedom would be something that is above the law, that wrote the law, the Shem, the Ruach HaKodesh, the old law, the Jewish law, 613 statutes, commandments, Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy. See, it's not religion, it's law. The Torah, now the testament he made, the bride price he paid in blood for his bride. Oligas, the little teeny tiny flock that he would call out in that wedding feast of the lambs, as he says in the book of Luke. Fear not, Oligas flock. Teeny tiny. It's your Father's pleasure to give you that kingdom. It's already chosen. But remember that warning of that blotting out, brothers and sisters. It's spiritual. I come with this message because it's in his word. I'm just conveying his word. I'm just telling you where it's at. I don't sit there and quote every chapter off of each message because you discern these things for yourself. I don't come off as a religious. I'll quote some so you can find your path markers through the word. Make it a little more easier for you to understand, which maybe is already written on your heart. Maybe it'll be revealed through him, not me. He's doing it, not me. He makes me come in here. I should be out doing things of this world so I can pay land payments and blah, 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 blah. I've been working in here. Are you always on here? Yep, been doing 12-hour, 15, 16. Yep, working more than most people work all day serving him because he makes me do it. So remember, many will come in my name. The only way to the Father is through the Son, brothers and sisters. So he says that many will come, right? There'll be a bunch of pagan and learn not the ways of the heathens. Learn not their ways, their traditions, their customs, all their lunar worship, their lunar gods. You see it on their flags, right? All the moon and the here, try to do this tactfully here. All the moon and star worship on their flags. They don't go through Christ. They only believe in God. They don't believe in the Hamashiach. They don't believe in the anointed. They're goats, vessels of wrath fitted for destruction from the foundation of the world. The only way to get through the Father is through the New Testament. So if you don't acknowledge the New Testament, the Father will throw you in hell. There's not me judging you. That's righteous judgment. And I have the right to judge. I'm not condemning anybody. God will do that, but that's according to his word. Iron sharpens iron, brothers and sisters. Iron sharpens iron. God is throwing most people in hell because they don't walk and follow his commandments. They don't agape him. They don't go by this New Testament. They go by their own will. And he calls them out as horrors in the Old Testament. Remember the whore of Babylon? the one who rode the beast, because they don't go through the New Testament. They don't believe that we're supposed to turn our cheek. They don't believe 7 times 70, 490 times. They seek vengeance after a man. They go after a man. They don't let God fight all their battles. They don't believe in the Hamashiach, the anointed. They don't believe in the Christ. They only believe in God. And they're going to burn in hell, right? No, the abyss, the place of no knowledge. It's the place of no knowledge. That's okay, brothers, sisters. God chose from the foundation of the world who he chose as sheep. Oligas, just a fraction of everybody once judgments are passed. And everybody else is either a vessel of wrath fitted for destruction, some kind of goat, liar, adulterer, murder. You're an apostasy to God, and it doesn't matter. Your works aren't getting you to heaven. You didn't walk and fall. He didn't pull you to him. So the only way to the Father is through the Son, and it's through the New Testament. So speaking not to anybody in particular, if you don't go through Jesus Christ, the Hamashiach, Shiloh, who was declared the Lamb of God, who came in the flesh, who paid that flesh. If you don't go through this testament that I'm teaching you, these people will go to hell. What's this called? The abyss. I ain't trying to change anybody. They have no knowledge of this, and that's where they go. That is what hell is. Busos or bathos is the word bis, the alpha, the beginning, the alpha. I am the alpha. That's the first letter in the English and the Greek alphabet. And so the alpha cancels the word that follows, negates. So if you see alpha in the Greek, like I am the alpha, he says, the Greek, the aleph symbol, he said, I am the aletheia, the truth, right? If you see that alpha in a word, abyss is what it says in Revelation. It doesn't say hell. It doesn't say lake of fire. It says abyss, the angel of the abyss. The angel of the abyss is the angel that is locked up in Revelation 9:11 in the original Textus Receptus in the Greek. If you study the original Greek, it says the angel, the messenger. If you study the Greek, it's the word angelos, because it says they have a king over them, right? A king, because it's their king with the Antichrist. He said, let no man steal your crown, brothers, sisters. Careful which king and which crown you're going after, But they have that messenger. He's a messenger, just like Christ visited John as a messenger at the island of Patmos at the gold mines. They have a messenger, or an angelos is the same Greek word as angel. Angel and messenger are the same thing. So they have an angel over them, the angel of the abyss. So in English, it's one word, abyss. In Greek, it's two. One word, so cancels whatever word's following. Bis is the word bathos, B-A-T-H-O-S in the Greek, or B-U-S-O-S in the Greek. So hell is the place of no knowledge. It doesn't matter what you think. That is, by definition, what hell is. So that's why most of these religions, 99% of them, whether they're Muslim, all these fake Jews that call themselves that don't believe in Christ is the Hamashiach, the anointed. They don't believe he was they still believe in that old Pharisaical that we were warned about. They're all going to hell. They call themselves Jews, but they're not, right? That's how he told us, right? Christians, 99% of Christians are going to hell, the place of no knowledge, because they worship the Christmas pagan orgy Nimrod Jesus, the Saturnalia Jesus, the feast of the one that America banned Christmas, 300 years ago when it was first, George Washington didn't have a Christmas in the White House. They didn't celebrate. They would throw you in jail for celebrating Christmas, or fine you and throw you there, because they knew it was that orgy sex Yule festival where they would throw that king of their king. Remember the king, their king. There's two kings, and I warned you about the crown. They would throw that king of that Saturnalia into the fire after a whole week of him getting to live he came from the peasants. He got to live like a king, and he got to sleep with everybody. It was an orgy. The Romans, this was at the time of Christ. Remember how Rome fell? They went, your history should show you what the time these people loved their orgies. And that's what that 7-day festival leading up to the birth of their sun god was. And they would barbecue the king. They would throw him on a fire and sacrifice him and eat him. And that's what the Catholics has perverted and calls Christmas. That's why he's the orgy sex Jesus, as I call him. And that's what these Christians worship. Christmas, celebrate Christmas, bring this into their trees. And so does 90+% of the other churches who follow that daggone fish god, the one with the son of Satan. He had that fish hat because he was the fish god, the daggone fish god, right? Of the sea, right? The son of Satan, Tammuz, right? And Tammuz, he married his mom after Satan died. So, but anyways, that's where you're standing up the Christmas tree comes from. When Satan died, Semiramis, Satan's wife, cut up his body parts into 12 pieces and then regathered them all except for his member, the one that one hung low, where, but yeah, the Nimrod. So that's what the birth and the standing up of the Christmas tree is the rebirth of Nimrod. And it's the sun god of the celebration of after a 7-day orgy that they would have. They would eat that, throw them in the fire and eat them. And then leading up to the December 25th of the birth of Mithra, or Apollyon, the one that Donald Trump has his house decorated with, the bringer of the disease and the cure of the disease in warp speed, Satan. Donald Trump has his house decorated with Satan, and then he calls himself a Christian. See, many people are deceived, and they think Christianity is some kind of, he didn't come here, what Christianity is basically is that Catholicism, the Christmas Jesus that was blended by Constantine because he thought he was going to lose his tribe to these northern Vandal pagan tribes that were to the north, all these heathen pagan tribes, the Vandals and the Goths, and they were slaughtering Christians. And so was Constantine. And he didn't think he could slaughter them fast enough. He was going to lose his kingdom to these northern tribes. So he made up this toleration, combining what people think is Christianity with paganism, Bel, Baal, Satan, Mary, all this, Horus, Isis, but people don't have any knowledge. They don't do no certain, but that's all paganism combined with Christianity, which to become Christmas. Which modern day, he wrote about eating toleration. It was called the Edict of Toleration, where he said, okay, well, we'll stop slaughtering the Christians down here and you stop coming slaughtering them and we'll all just get along. Kind of like wokeism today, right? We'll just, cancel culture. We'll just, you shut up about these pagan gods, and they can bring all these pagan gods in the churches and all their idolism and imagery, and we'll blend Christianity with, paganism, which is now Catholics. That's Catholic, like eat the orgy, sex king eat the flesh, eat their king. But the Catholic Church is such an apostasy and the most disgusting, filthy religion ever known to man, because they've perverted where Christ said, eat my body, in the body of Christ, as the scepter sign declared, he is the head of the church. Remember, high priest can only enter the church, house of Aaron and Levite. These were the high priest. Christ is the head of the church under this testament, and the scepter sign declared him the head of the church, as he was the scepter shall not depart from Judah, as Melchizedek, Jupiter, pointed at not just the first sign when it conjuncted the birth of the king in the heavens, that the wise men were watching Jupiter conjunct with the morning star, but they saw that second sign that they saw, which was it went opposition and pointed to the head of the church, lion, shall the head of the church, king, high priest of the church, shall not depart from Judah until Shiloh returns. And so he's the high priest, he is the head, and we are the body. He never said to eat his body. And it's so disgustingly filthy that the Catholic Church has perverted eat my body into you thinking that you're eating the orgy sacrifice sex king of their body that they ate. They ate the body of the orgy sex king on December 25th, up at, leading after that. And that's why they celebrate Christmas, which is not in scripture. That's just Constantine blending paganism, communion, eat the crackers and grape juice. It's eat the orgy sex Yule King, or the Saturnalia, or the Feast of Saturn, which was the sacrament of the Mass. And that's why people came to America. Christopher Columbus came to America, 1492. Nina Pinta, Santa Maria all came over here on boats fleeing the Catholic Church, the Roman Inquisitions, the red cross over the white. That was the Catholic Church. They were slaughtering anybody who wouldn't go eat the orgy sex king, cracker and grape juice communion ritual. Drink my blood, eat my body. Blasphemy, probably the most blasphemy thing ever known to man, the inventor of the Muslim church. They invented the Muslim church, and these people think that they're some kind of set us apart, Allah Akbar, that was created by the Catholic Church. These people are no knowledge, brothers and sisters. He throws those with no knowledge in the place of no knowledge. That's what hell is, just so you know, by definition. So all this has been perverted. That's why, again, they came over here fleeing the Catholic Church because they were slaughtering Christians. They didn't even care if you were a Christian or not. If you wouldn't go to their orgy, sex, eat my sacrifice, communicate, open portals with God and all this, speak to demons and distribute fortunes, all these lies, they would slaughter you, impale you on a stake. If you were with child, you were a mother, they'd unzip your belly and smash your child's head into the ground like pop it like a grape. They were ruthless. The Catholic Church is an absolute ruthless what they did to anybody who wouldn't celebrate this festival today. So they came over to America fleeing that, what was now modern day Christmas, was the church called the sacrament of the Mass. They have Mass. Remember, you go to the Mass and you eat the cracker, you eat the body of Christ. No, you're eating the orgy sex king. And they've got the whole world because they're so ignorant. But he says, my people will perish for lack of knowledge. So that makes sense. They go into the place of no knowledge, correct? So I ain't trying to be some kind of, I'm giving you the definition of these things. It's just probably not for most people to even have the time to discern these things, but it's not that hard. This is historical, biblical. I gave you the edict of toleration, the blending of paganism, Christianity, modern day Christmas. They came, 1492. They didn't come over here. They weren't pilgrims. They were Puritans, because they wouldn't celebrate this orgy sex festival, the Yule festival, where they'd eat the king of the orgy festival, who came from the peasants after getting to sleep with all the finest sheep and men and lay with all the finest ladies, drink all the finest wine. He got treated like a king. He came from the peasants. He lived like a king. They slaughtered him after 7 days and ate him right up to December 25th. And now all these people are celebrating the birth of Christ on December 25th. That's the birth of Satan, the one that Donald Trump has his house decorated with. Mithra, the Roman sun god, Apollyon, that's locked up in the pit, in the place of no knowledge, revelation. That's why Donald Trump has his house decorated with it. He knows this. He's not foolish. It's all going by the script. That's why he has a 58-story tower, because Nimrod had a 58-story tower. Satan and Donald Trump, same size tower. You think that's by chance? 666 is the number of man. Donald Trump has a 66-4 penthouse on a 50-story building, 58-story Trump Tower, right? Not by chance. And that's how ignorant the world is. He ran for 4 years, and now they didn't elect Biden, and he's still the president, and nobody's even figured that out, because they don't pay attention to inaugurations and won't pay attention to the details, and they lack knowledge, but they're still pulling it off. Remember Mr. Barry Soetoro, his wife had an apple and a banana, right? An apple and a banana. Yeah, and so does Trumps, and so did Reagan's, and so did Bush's, and so did Carter's. Do some sizing up. All these things I tell you guys, it's insane. It's insane. It's insane how they've gotten away with that. Yeah, Nancy Reagan had an apple that you can still see. Go look at it in pictures. I encourage you. Go look. She has an apple. She has an apple. That's not a feminine thing. And a cucumber. So it's been going on for a long time, decades now, a lot longer than just, man shell. No. I encourage you to go back further. Oh, yeah, Barbara. Yeah. Oh, yep. Remember, do the sizing thing that I taught you. Like I told you, don't be biased. Don't be political. Remember, think like a law enforcement officer. You got to testify in court, credible witness, if it was a man or a woman. God created man. God created one race, the human race, man and woman. And you should be able to tell with your training, your certification, portioned differently. God did not portion man and women the same. We're portioned completely different. So somebody can play hocus pocus and put on the lipstick and all that, and carry a purse and, I identify as this, but they're going to dig them up 1,000 years later and say, this is a dude, So you can try to, sew body parts but there are certain portions that we have. So I encourage you, I've told you guys this over and over, go to all the last 4 or 5 or 6 pretendants and you'll see that they're all have apples and cucumbers. You might not see the apple because some of them, they had the apple peelers that they, so you can find this information too. Oh, well, hey, they had an apple peeling, there's some of this, they don't hide it anymore. Some of this, it's been out there for quite some time, but so this has been going on for quite some time. I thought she had breast cancer. Remember Miss Reagan? Whoa. Just do the portions. Don't be political. Don't be biased. Don't be woke and try to cancel my culture and say, oh, well, no, I identify as a turtle. I identify as a cake. So whatever. Look at how God created man. You can look into this, what I'm saying, the 3 head heights. I've already taught you all these things on be able to not be fooled. You can look at somebody and tell what they were born. It doesn't matter if they're carrying a purse, not makeup, brooch, high collar, A man has 3 head heights, period. Doesn't have. A woman doesn't. She only got 2.5. A woman is only 7 head heights from the top of her head to the bottom of her feet. I don't care if she's a dwarf or a giant. Same thing with men. God portions is completely different. Many of these men, remember, a woman's hips are wider than her shoulders. A man has wider shoulders. Some of it should be quite obvious, guys, that some of this isn't even, this isn't being racist or bending genders or whatever. No, I'm just telling you the way the Most High portioned. Man and woman, one race, the human race, man and woman. So you can identify them. I was a law enforcement officer in the 90s, and if I put my hands on a woman, I'd go to jail. I could be sued, and we could have to call for a backup female officer to do a search on a woman. So I have training that a lot of these cops don't have today, and they can put their hands on anybody. They don't train them to identify. They don't care. They're just, are you listening to me? I'll dump a clip in you if you don't. This, my definition of American law enforcement in 2024. Ma'am, sir, the reason I pulled you over is stop resisting. I'm right. I'm right. That's exactly how these tyrants are. I better not get on that rant. I'll go off. Hey, we're supposed to. Remember, he went against the law back then, and they stuck him like a pig, didn't they? Dirty. I don't mean to call them. I'm just saying the way they did it. The Roman. But no worries, brothers and sisters. He paid that bride price for his bride. So remember, it's spiritual battle we're under. We'll go back to the message. So I'm going to do I don't know how long I'll be on here today, but I'm sure I'm going to do a reveal on this again, on this foreshadowing of what I've told you is the Nineveh sign, the fig tree, the parable sign, this Alice symbol, the 7 to be 7, judgment to be completed. The X sign, the Alpha, the Omega. The X is the 24th letter of the alphabet. 8, April 4, 8, 24 is X marks the spot. I am the Alpha, the Omega. These 3 X's over the United States, the Alice symbol. All this is, I believe, is a foreshadowing. They're doing this false eclipse. I don't know how they're doing it. I'm sure they're using their tech. And that's what it's revealing as well. It's revealing of the new tech, which is going to take down, in my opinion, just a messenger. He has me here as a watchman on the wall. And so I'm going to tell you what I see. And I think I've made it quite clear going back to, I don't think there's anybody has been, again, the first part of this message is I need to be and humble myself and realize the blessing that I have and the message I've already shown to the world, and anybody that had an eye to see or an ear to hear. I do not think there's anybody on this earth right now, irregardless of the shape of it, that's covered this eclipse in the detail that I have. And I feel just overly blessed and overly whelmed. And it was just smashing me this morning. Like, stop being so whiny about being alone, Tracy. I already gave you more than you could ever ask for. You don't need anything else. You don't need anybody else. Stop whining. If you die alone, oh well. Just keep sounding the message, Stop being of the flesh. You're whining unto your followers, and your message is more important than your flesh. You're cutting into the message. So he made me narrow myself this morning, guys, and show me how blessed I am to be out here on this 40 acres. Even if I am isolated and it feels like torture for me sometimes, the message is more important to show you that what an amazing time that we've been blessed to see the time that we're in. This passing of this age and this coming of this new age and the coming of what I believe this Alice symbol is showing the cancellation of what is to come. That you have to go out with the old and come in with the new. There has to be a taking down of the old. If he said there'd be a new earth and a new heaven, then this one's got to go. And he warned us about going back. Go back into the field. Don't go back and get what you have. Once he calls, you need to be loins girded. He is your prize, head in his direction. As I warn you, not foolish. He will come like a thief in the night. So we need to be daily cross. Don't set it down. He never said you could set your cross down. Did he? All right, found anywhere in scripture he said you can set it down. He said, who shall ever come after me? Let them deny themselves, take up their cross daily. So that's a 7-day week, 365-day carry your cross and to endure to the end to be saved. Sozo, the Greek word, to be carried from beginning point to an ending point. Those are who he chose and will save to become back as he picked up and already purchased. Hashtag from what part of the foundation of the world do you not understand? Yes, he chose those already. It was already written before any of this was ever created. He already chose his bride, and he paid the price in the flesh, came back. That's why it's so important we go through that testament, that covenant that we're under, and that he would come back. Those that endured to the end, he would come back. And that is the word redemption. And that's why he told you to be wise and to look up that his redemption, your redeemer, the one who paid that bride price in blood, in the flesh for you, would return and pick you up, his purchased possession. That bride price that he paid in blood for his bride, he would come back and return. As he said, I'm going to, like a bride, would is all the formality of a wedding contract, brothers and sisters. He divorced his bride, Israel, for idolatry and worshiping Christmas and Valentine's and Easter under another name. Idolatry, worshiping self, falling under idolism, serving self, and celebrating vanity, vain traditions of men. But he said he would make a new bride, and he would call out their name in that wedding feast of the lambs, in that book, in that lamb's book of life, correct? Those that would have that heaven. He would, that new, I don't think you understand that heaven, that new heaven, when he's going to be back here on this earth, not when we're in this flesh, but when he creates a new earth and a new heaven. Then the meek will inherit the earth. I'm going to where my Father is at. I'm going to leave this place, and I'm going to prepare, just as a bride tarried, to come back. The bride and the bridegroom, remember the tarrying, and would come back and pick up his bride. This is going by exactly what happened back then, and he's going to make sure it happens as a contract, as a testament. He paid in blood. He was the testor of that will, and when he paid that bride price and he died, remember, he was already dead when they came to him. His legs were already broken. He fulfilled exactly what he said. He would be the unblemished sacrificial lamb, the bride price he paid in blood for his, right? The wedding feast of the Lamb for his bride. He would go to where his Father was at. He would tarry, and he'd come back and he'd redeem, pick up what he already purchased from the foundation of the world, brothers and sisters. It's already written. So we must walk and follow in his commandments and endure to the end, as the word sozo means to be taken and carried from beginning point. He needs to be that. Footprints isn't biblical, brothers and sisters, but yeah, why did you leave me, Father? I was carrying you. Are you serious? He is the one who carries this. It's this gospel. It's that understanding that he chose who he chose from the foundation of the world, and we must endure to the end to be picked up and received. Remember, he says, I'm going to go to where my Father's at. I'm going to compare a place. I'm going to come back and I'm going to redeem you. That's redemption, brothers and sisters. Look up, for your redemption draweth nigh. The word redemption, I don't care if he said, I'm going to go where my Father's at and prepare a place, and he came back 2 minutes later to pick up what he already bought because it was already paid. That is called redemption. He comes back 2 months later, redemption. 2 weeks later, 2 years later, 2,000 years later, 220. That is redemption. The word redemption, because it was already purchased. He paid the bride price with the flesh, brothers and sisters. So when he comes back, he tells us that when he destroys this earth with fire, there'll be a new heaven and a new earth. And the meek will inherit the earth, brothers and sisters, and the meek and the heavens, that is a ruling, that inheritance is to rule over. The meek will inherit the scepter sign. He gave the inheritance to Jacob, who he later called Israel, and he hated Esau, who he did not, and he hated Esau and gave the inheritance, and he knew that before either one of them were ever born or done anything on this earth, brothers and sisters. So he knows in this next time when he destroys this earth with fire, when he takes the evil, because the evil is the heavens. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principality. He paid the bride price, the flesh. He paid it in blood. We wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, the heavens. The heavens, brothers and sisters, at this time of the world, the heavens are the ruling class of the earth. The heavens are the earth, and the earth, the heavens are the ruling class, and the earth is the ruled. So the heavens are the principalities, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood. It's been paid. It's a spiritual price that he paid, that we're under this contract, this testament. When he died, it became a law, a testament fulfilled as he was the unblemished lamb. Somebody has to die for a testament because he was the testor of that will for it to actually be a valid will. As he paid in blood, unblemished, it became this testament of this bride. Remember, you had to go to a public place. You had to declare and nail that contract to a stake or a tree and had two witnesses declare what it said in the book of Deuteronomy, as the Apostle Paul spoke in the book of Corinthians, the contract. It was a formality. And that bride contract had to be taken to a public place and to be nailed to a stake, and that had to be two witnesses declared that contract for it to be valid. You understand what Christ did? Remember, he nailed his hands to a stake, to a tree. He was yoked and crucified, nailed to a stake when they took him down from the tree in the book of Acts. He didn't carry a cross. He was yoked, crucified, nailed, top, hands, contract must be nailed to the top, bottom. So don't, two witnesses, two thieves paid the bride price in blood, sacrificial, unblemished, gone, past, already, legal, right there, legal, in blood. For we wrestle not against flesh. He paid the bride price in flesh, so you don't have to suffer the flesh. It's spiritual. Oh, it's going to feel like it, but it's a spiritual suffering, brothers and sisters. We wrestle not against flesh and blood, but the heavens, the ruling class, against principalities. This is heaven's world, this heaven on earth? No. He's going to destroy this place with fire and remove the principalities, powers, spiritual wickedness, the rulers of the darkness of this world, the rulers of the darkness of this world. That is the heavens. And there is the earth. Just as the nation of Israel, no nation could come against the heavens, because they loved and walked and followed in his commandments. They agape them, right? They didn't fall into idolatry. They didn't worship self. They followed his commandments, and no nation, the nation of 7,000 man army of the nation of Israel, annihilated 120,000 man army. I encourage you to look at all the battles that were won by the nation of that time, Israel, his bride, the one he divorced. When Ahab married Jezebel, married truth to a lie, then he split the kingdom. Then he told them to go into the land and scout out the giants into the land of Anak. And they failed when they came back and said we were like giants to them, right? Grasshoppers. That's it. He had enough. 40 days in the wilderness. I'm going to make you wander the desert for 10 years. For every day you didn't go scout out and kill all the Philistines, the giants, not aliens, not fallen angels, but giants. So he divorced his bride at that time, and he said there would be a new bride, brothers and sisters. I'm trying to give you a little biblical and historical record so you understand what it is that I'm telling you. That he said that he would have a new bride, and he would leave this place and like a bride would tarry. The contract nailed, top and bottom, the bride price he paid. We wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, powers, the rulers of darkness of this world, spiritual wickedness in high places. That is your Rockefellers, your Rothschilds, your Trumps, your Gates, your DuPonts, all these rulers of the darkness of this world. That is the ruling class of this earth right now. Who's ruling you? Him or them? He will destroy them and do it with fire. It is the promise of the rainbow. Stop doing the hokey pokey, turn yourself around. I'll bring the fire, and that is the promise that he will never flood this earth again. When he destroys it, he's going to bring the fire. And he's going to take the evil from this earth, and there'll be a new heavens, not somewhere in the sky, here on this earth. When he takes the evil, so we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, powers, the rulers of the darkness of this world, spiritual wickedness in high places. The meek will inherit. If you're meek, you must be wise as a serpent, gentle as a dove. We are under this testament. So when we come back with our new bodies, not somewhere on Pluto or Mars, right back here, there will be a ruling class. And the meek will inherit the earth. The meek will inherit. There will be a new ruling class, and it will be the heavens. And there will be no evil on this earth, brothers and sisters, and he will be here with us. So be wise. Be meek, not weak. Remember this testament that he put his bride under, agape, not just walk and follow my commandments, go out and teach this gospel, but remember, love is patient, agape is patient. It is kind, it does not boast. Remember the other side, the charitable side of Christ. Remember your brother, remember there's one race, the human race. Yes, you should understand, we do not keep company with vipers. We do not cast our pearls before swine. Agape your neighbor, like you agape your enemy. Hey, enemy, you're on the wide path. This is a pagan thing. This is what the word of God says. You know, I'll tell you, that's the broad way. See that? That's the what, over here, enemy. This is how agape, this is how you love your enemy. You don't bake them hot crock-top buns and be, all lovey-dovey. That's not, no, the agape. Walk and follow in my commandments. Do the same thing. Hey, neighbor. Hey, what are you doing with Christmas tree lights out here on your house here? Let's go to the internet. Now, let me show you. This is pagan. We've got the internet right now. See? Yeah, I know the kids and stuff. You don't want to do it. I rebuke you by. You only got to do it 2 times, guys. Love your enemy like you love your neighbor. See, I didn't do that any different, did I? I rebuke my enemy if he don't want to come to Christ. You show him 2 times. Be not partakers in the unfruitful works of darkness, yet rebuke them, but love them, brothers and sisters. Be charitable, be kind, be loving, be meek, be wise, be patient. That is agape as well. Never forget that we are human beings on this earth, and he commands us not to act like animals towards each other. We're under this testament in these very trying times. In America, this earth is being flooded with people from all over the world, and it has for decades. This is not a new thing that's going on. And your faith will be tested. Your will against this humanity where God says agape your enemy like you agape your neighbor. These are very trying times, brothers and sisters. That's why I want to get away from it. And I moved away from society a long time because I'll be a pacifist and I don't want to fight with nobody. I'm already a veteran. I've already done enough fighting. I've been a police officer. I've put my hands on people and done horrible things to people, arrested, victimless crime. I'm a filthy, dirty beast myself. So I've tried to cut off that decades ago and walk this path to come to this understanding so that we can see this day and age that we live in. These are very trying times. And if he didn't do what he did to me in my path, I wouldn't be who I am today. So I got PTSD. Yeah, I got issues, but at least I'm speaking honestly about it. And I'm not just condoning the behavior that I did in the past and the behavior I see of men against his body. Remember, he said you'd be better to have a millstone tied around your neck than to hurt one hair on my children's head. So remember, a sin is a sin to the Father. The wages of sin are death. So please, brothers and sisters, we must be wise as a serpent. There will be a ruling class on this earth after he takes the evil from this earth. But we will come back here, and only those that fear the Lord will have their names written in that book of remembrance. That is a book nobody talks about, but there is a book of remembrance. There is a book of life and the book of judgments, brothers and sisters. There are 3 books. So I encourage you to be wise, cut off self, deny it, take up your cross, be condemned by this world. Don't put your cross down. He didn't say you could put it down. Your cross is a spiritual cross, not a little cross. He wasn't hung on a cross. They hung him from a tree. Cursed he who hangeth from the tree in the book of Acts. When they took him down from the tree, he was crucified. But he fulfilled the law. He came to him. He was already past. He was the unblemished sacrificial lamb. They didn't have to break his legs to kill him. He fulfilled that law. He was the testor of that will. And under this testament, he said, let vengeance be mine, saith the Lord. Let vengeance be mine. He says it's not an eye for an eye, brothers and sisters. Yes, when somebody used to hurt you, they hurt your sister. Take your sister. You could go take their sisters. That was the old law. That was the Jewish law. That was the Torah. He fulfilled that law. This testament that we are under now, he said, let vengeance be mine, saith the Lord. You can't go take somebody's stuff. We are not under that testament now, brothers and sisters. We fulfilled it, and the testament is the new. The amendments he made, the bride price he paid in blood so that we didn't have to wrestle this flesh and blood. The baptism, He wants to find our garments white and spotless, washed in the blood of the Lamb when he returns. It's a process. It's a repentance. It's salvation. It's baptism. It's a process. It's who shall ever come after me? Let them die themselves, take up their cross Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 365 days. You can't set that cross down. You cannot set that cross down. We must pay this price spiritually, brothers and sisters. Wrestle not against flesh and blood. Be meek. Turn your cheek 7 times 70. That's 490 times. Endure to the end to be saved, he said. Only those he chose, brothers and sisters, would endure to the end and be picked up, his bride price that he paid. Remember, this is a contract. This isn't some religion that I'm teaching you here. Oligas understand that this testament that he said, I'm going to go to where my Father's at. I'm going to prepare a place. Yeah, the biggest prepper on the planet's God, right? He's going to go to where his Father is at and going to prepare a place and come back and pick up what he already bought from the foundation of the world. No being saved in your lifetime. You were already bought. Nobody can save you. Once saved, always saved. Nope. The blotting out of the handwriting of ordinances. I warn you, the most important message that he is conveying to his body through me is that there will be blotting out, brothers and sisters. Be wise. Have your loins girded in his service. Be headed in his direction when he returns. Do not be like the foolish virgins buying oil at the store, because bam, that door shut and slammed right in their face. And it was Murphy's Law. It was timing. They were going in the wrong direction at the wrong time when the bride came, right, to pick up his bridegroom. He said that would happen again. He said he will come like a thief in the night, brothers and sisters. That's why he wants to see us girded, our loins. Belief is not a thought in your head, brothers and sisters. It's a verb. Faith is a noun. You got to put legs on faith. Faith without works is dead. Be wise. Have extra oil. Be wise. I warn you. It's tough right now. If he wants us to turn away a brother or not, remember there was a point in time. We can't take in everybody, everything. We have to sometimes be wise and headed in the right direction and worry about being a light. Our vessel, our eye is the lamp to the body, all complete and can't have dark and light. Brothers, sisters, it's hard. I struggle against this as well because all I want to do is help other brothers and I don't want to turn foolish. I got food. I got this. Come, what foolish virgins? Come, foolish virgins, and see why nobody comes. You guys, I got to take off this sweatshirt. I'm starting to get hot here in this cabin. Getting cabin fever. Woo! No. Getting a little warm here. But that's a hard thing. I struggle with that a lot, guys, because if he wants us to be patient and meek and caring, and remember all the parables of when he was talking to the apostles about, when you fed him, on the streets, when you clothed him, you clothed me, that is what I believe that is. If there was something that pleases, nothing we could do to please the Father, but if there was something that pleases him, it would be helping the body and helping out humanly helping. Don't keep covenant with vipers, don't cast your pearls before swine. But he does tell you to give, don't sup, but we give people that agape. We give them that chance. We give them that, but there will come a time. You've got to understand there's going to come a time where you need to take care of yourself. If you have yourself taken care of, then great, right? Then go out and spread the message and always be trimming self. Don't get complacent. My message, there will be a blotting out of the handwriting of ordinances. There'll be a blotting out because those that added or took away, the smallest jot or the smallest sister, it's probably a rigid thing to remember, the smallest jot or the smallest tittle. And then your name could be taken out. You could already have been bought and he'll throw you in the abyss. So I don't care if you were already purchased and you were already a sheep. He can take your name out. Please, this is righteous judgment, brothers and sisters. This is how iron sharpens iron. This is why that's why he doesn't dwell in houses made by hand. He says, where there are 2 or 3 gathered in my name, there I'll be in their midst. Like he's here with us now. It's his word. I am the Alethi. I am the truth. I'm the Hados, the narrow way. The narrow way is to the truth and to him, the horizo, the light. We have to go through this truth. And so we need to edify each other because through that word, the word of the scripture is the truth. Through definition, you'll find the actual truth, there's a lot of translation, but those he says, seeking ye shall find, asking ye shall receive. He's not talking about a job, or remember, I could use a wife, an equally yoked wife, but that's not what he's asking. He's telling you the aletheia, the truth, the understanding, the tree of knowledge of what's to reveal through undo the translation, unfroward, by going to the original text that it's written in, that I told you. The Greek word froward means to, the Hebrew, not Greek word. The Hebrew word froward means to pervert or to twist. And that's what people have done through translation. We tend to do that. You can say something in somebody's ear, a short little saying, and say that to somebody else, and say that to 2 or 3 people. It's never going to come out the same on the other end. I don't care if you do that over and over, say something different, it's always going to come out different. That's called translation. People hear a certain thing or think a certain thing. That's translation, not transliteration, no literal change to the definition. So if you leave the definition, you leave the aletheia, you leave the truth. So I encourage you to study these words in the original dialectus, the original dialect, that the glossa that they were written in. There's a glossary in the front of a book because the dialect is foreign. You look through the glossary to find it's all in the tongue. That's what the word, there's no such thing as speaking in tongues. That means to be speaking in a foreign dialectus, a foreign gloss, a foreign tongue or language, and there's another one that's funny is, this world, they got people believe that can be saved, and it's a one-time purchase. People believe in tongues. There's no such thing as tongues. People believe in faith healing. There's no such thing as, that was all nailed to the cross. There's no such thing as accepting Christ. You can't be saved anywhere in your life. It was already something from the foundation of the world. Your name could be blotted out, but most people don't understand predestination. Most people don't understand the true 144,000, not a literal number, but all flesh, when he came back to save 12,000 from 12,000 from 12,000. Yeah, there's no speaking in tongues. That was, if you research your history, it's all blasphemy. If you came from another nation and you were coming to the nation of Israel, and he didn't want the church interrupted by people speaking in a different language. The people came from all over to be grafted into the nation of Israel. Remember, 2 turtle doves at the altar, circumcision of the flesh, dipped in water. And if you came there and they didn't want you speaking in your glossa, your tongue, and interrupting the church. So there's no such thing as speaking, and that word tongues is dialectus. So they wanted you to have an interpreter, not, there's nothing that is blasphemy. I rebuke anybody who's ever pushed that nonsense. That is the ability. The prophets had the ability before they were that was all nailed to the stake. The prophecy, that was all nailed to the stake as well. No modern day prophecy. They could speak in a foreign tongue, and the person who would hear it in their dialectus, but that's not when it's talk about going into the church and speaking in tongues, is they wanted you to take, if 3 or 4 of you came from over here in Rome and this mass was held in that wasn't a mass back then, my bad. If they were in the church, in the temple, and you were entering in there, and there were 2 or 3 of you that didn't speak the same language, they don't want you interrupting the church trying to figure out what they're saying because you spoke in a foreign tongue or glossa or dialectus. They wanted you to get an interpreter to interpret what was being said. All these people is taking interpreting and pervert it, like they've taken the water dipping that before you'd enter in the church and turn that into water baptism. And that's not a true baptism. Baptism's not in water. Yeah, modern day prophecy, you're blaspheming, mountain man, and please leave. You're pushing all that was nailed to the stake. You're speaking Pharisaical law, and Christ will call you out. If you don't listen to me, I'll give you one more time. And the disciples, but that's all nailed. Are you a disciple? Are you but anyways, there's no such thing as speaking in tongues. It's in the definition. You can undo it with definition, just like I was saying. I don't need to argue with nobody. People believe in rapture. That's not written in Scripture. People believe in Lucifer and Satan. That's not, Lucifer's not Satan. That's only written one time in Scripture, not even in the original Scripture. So that's real, like the tooth fairy's real. Just one time. People believe it's okay to celebrate birthdays. People believe that a lot of things that are untrue, and people believe in water baptism. That's not a baptism, is to be covered with a stained pitch dye or blood. The halakha and the Haggadah was a perversion of the law, and that's what they did. They perverted the hand washing and turned that ritual, that tradition, into modern day what people call baptism. But if you define the word bapto or baptizo, you notice it doesn't have water in it. Oh, gee, why is that? Because water baptism is a perversion from the Pharisees, who perverted the law just like they do in speaking in tongues. None of that. There's no speaking in tongues. There's no healing people with hand. That's all. Yes, the prophets could do it. Yes, the disciples could do it. But can you speak to somebody in a foreign language and they can decipher it? You speak Greek and they're from China, right? And they speak Chinese. Can they hear your Greek? Can they hear your Greek? You're speaking Greek. Do they understand? You speak in Greek, but they hear it in Chinese. The prophets could do that. They could speak in tongues. That would be at that time prophecy. They could do that, but that was all nailed to the stake in the tree. There's no modern day prophecy. There's no modern day. And to understand the it's in the definition, dialectus. They spoke in a foreign dialect. They spoke in a foreign dialect, a foreign tongue. A glossa. It's in the definition. So their if it was foreign, you could look up in the glossary and you can find the dialect. So that's what the interpretation, what they're talking about, is when they would want you to, again, not interrupt, like people come in, they're rude and they interrupt because they speak a different, Android or whatever, just like Mountain Man was speaking Pharisee and twisted the old, whatever. I would stop reading his comments or his or her, whatever it was. But, never know in this day and age, right? Everything's been forwarded and perverted, right? Remember that word, to twist or pervert? So that's what most people have done. They've taken what at the time, if you spoke a different language and there were 2 or 3 of you, they didn't want you interrupting church. Take them over on the side and you interpret for them what the whoever's in the pulpit is saying. So how are you still in here? You've already, so your wife didn't speak in tongues. Your wife spoke in lunar psychobabble. So I already told you there's no such thing as speaking in tongues, guys. So anybody who says that is a blasphemer to God's word and they don't take up the definition, that's historical record too. Keeps your religious nonsense out of it. I mean, I know that they went into a church and so that kind of has to be religious. But a point that I'm making is that I hope you understand, guys, if I stood up and taught with a whiteboard or something, that you'd see that all the nations came around the Mediterranean, the beast out of the sea, and Israel was over here, necks hugged up. Like right now we see them in the news, they're hugged up around that sea. All those nations, the Bible's talking about all those nations that came to the nation of Israel from around the Mediterranean Sea. So if you came from anywhere around to this nation, you didn't speak that same language. So they didn't want you coming from all these other nations to be grafted into the nation of Israel, speaking this language over here. If there were 2 or 3, so imagine everybody trying to interpreters. Everybody, and that guy's up here trying to in the pulpit like me. Sometimes that's what it'd be like, guys. Honestly, this is a beautiful thing. This is a beautiful thing. You know what I'm saying? That this is a beautiful thing because Mountain Man won't shut up. And should just go over there and have somebody else decipher it with 2 or 3 and stop interrupting me. But he does his works of the father, the devil. And obviously so does his wife by thinking she's speaking in it's just psychobabble. Tongues is to be speaking in a foreign dialect. Dialectus is in the definition. So it's an apostasy and there's no validity to it. Yes, at the time of Christ, to explain to you, his disciples could speak and anybody could hear the language in their tongue. But that was, nobody can do that. Do you know anybody can do that right now? They speak and no matter what language they speak in, it's blasphemy. Mountain Man is a blasphemy, being blasphemous to the definition. So anyways, I'm not trying to change anybody, guys. So I'm just giving you that definition of it. It's in the definition. So people love to argue about tongues, but they really think that that's psychobabble. And so look at this, guys. So the other person that's interpreting it is just as much psychotic as them or a lunatic, lunacy, That's insane. Think about it. The other person's got to be with it too. Because see, that interpreter really had a position, didn't they? So it's two putting on an act, isn't it? That's why on the front row, when they said you're healed and there's no such thing as faith healing, you notice the people that are sitting 2 or 3 rows back don't get knocked down, right? It's all an act. They're a bunch of actors. And so tongues is an act. That's a bunch of people putting on an act. This interpreter's acting and the tongue person's acting too. Oh, he said this, she said this. That's hogwash. And it's not in the definition. So I think it's funny that people have taken something like that and just perverted it like crazy. And they believe it. Oh, but believe is not what they think, because believe is a verb. See? My people will perish for lack of knowledge. So that's the problem with society today. They don't use definition, and they don't look at, they're too religious. They believe what some talking head told them. So kind of funny to watch this, this world just pervert everything. So again, I'm not worried about it, guys. Just use that a little less and we had to bounce off. There's always somebody that'll come in and be in an apostasy to God's word. And then we get the trolls, but it's kind of a perfect example. If I was in here teaching and somebody didn't have it, was interrupting, saying something foreign, so, one of you guys could take them over and, maybe we'd have a side chat or something, right? Imagine that, guys. We don't have that now, but we'll speak and we'll twist or forward that, pervert it a little bit and not keep it straight to the, but maybe we'd have a side chat. You know what I'm saying? Where like if some of these people, you guys could take them over there. You guys could do it right here. You don't need to take them out. I'm just using it as a parable, right? And take them over there and go like, look, no, there's no Satan as Lucifer. What do you mean? Stop interrupting him. Don't you have a computer? There's no such thing as Christmas. He's just talking about the Feast of Yule. Stop interrupting. There's, and him and explain to them. That is what an interpreter was. Somebody who was interpreting the language that was foreign, because they would interrupt whoever was in the pulpit, whatever's putting up that message. So see how easily this is exactly why Christ divorced his bride. That is called idolatry. Let's just put it in there. Speaking in tongues is idolatry. People have made up their own law, their own shell, their own shem. And he would come back and say, you're forwarding my word. You're perverting, just like he did to the Pharisee. You're forwarding my law. You're twisting. In my book of Deuteronomy, it says this. You've perverted it with your halakha. You made it your own law, just like Babylon. And that's why God called Babylon out as a whore. She was a whore because she cheated on the law. There was a law. Remember, it's a bride. Remember? That's why she was called out as a whore, because she cheated on the law, the Old Testament. So you guys get what I'm saying, right? So I think you guys see it. I ain't trying to change anybody. You guys know that. Anybody who follows this channel, this ain't me. This is the definition. It ain't my opinion. I'm just the messenger, right? Don't shoot the messenger. I'm just the messenger telling you what the definition, what the word says. And people just get a little excited because they want everybody to be an android. So they hear somebody with a little passion when I get doing a little lesson off somebody's ignorance. Some people think they're rattling my cage. And I know sometimes the people who are following me, I need to remind myself that again, too, guys. Be a little bit more settled. Our days are shortening every day. One day closer to death, every single one of us. So not in a gloom kind of thing, but hallelujah, man. I can't wait to get that out of here. But we need to use our days wisely and, remember that if he's appointed some of us with, to be a vessel and if you don't, then we need to focus on what it is that we're here to do, because it's such a beautiful time, the king is nigh at the door. The king is nigh at the door. Nobody knows the day or hour. And I think we're years away. Not like that. I don't think that it ends tomorrow and next month or even next year. I don't think we're anywhere close to that. But, judgments is what's coming, brothers, sisters. Judgments are here. Judgments, I believe here in America are going to be the judgments that is going to be received first. They'll be passed on this nation that's gone out and stomped the whole world for the last 50 years, forcing the neck of the nations to pay for the oil, their black goo, using silver to fund it in all their war machines, and forced every nation to use the SWIFT system to reprice oil with the US dollar. And then, we are the money changers of Scripture. And we're going to pay the price for that, because no other nation goes and stomps the snot out of nations in over 800, military bases in over 180 countries, and then, gets away with it for so long before that's going to catch up with you. So that's what I believe is coming. And so I believe the destruction of this system. I still think there'll be plenty of dollars around and things like that, but I believe the system in America is they're foreshadowing the destruction of America and the system itself. You know what I'm saying? It's this system that we've been stomping nations, using our militaries, forcing with our Navy through our ports to be able to control the whole oceans. Now China has a larger Navy than us. So we're not the largest Navy in the world. We were. That's how we were able to control the world, guys. I'm a veteran. If you control all the ports and all the traffic, all the flow of goods, then you can control the world. And if you control all the oil and you make everybody pay for your oil with your price and your price, and every time they pay for it in their dong or dinar or ruble or bolivar, it doesn't matter. They have to change it over and pay a fee to convert it into the dollar. Then we make money on everybody. You understand? We make money on every nation and have for over 50 years, and stomped the living snot at everybody and made them, forced them. So we are the money changers of the Bible. We are the same thing that got Christ to be physical. So we are an absolutely filthy, disgusting nation. And for 50 years, we have supported this, Henry Kissinger going over there brokering, taking us off this, standard where the money that we had money. And, you could go take a silver certificate. If you had a $2 silver certificate, you could go get 2 silver ounces for it. And they took us off that. They put us on this petrodollar that we've been on. So, but it's over. The Saudis are taking and pricing their oil in different currencies right now. And so the judgments are already here, and it's already happening, and it's a logarithmic decay away from with these BRICS nations who don't want the U.S. dollar. They don't want our debt anymore. They don't want our treasury. That's why our treasuries and our bonds. That's why the U.S. is having to print $1 trillion every 100 days just to keep this sinking ship from, going down. It's like a heroin patient hooked on an addict, and it just needs more and more and more to stay high. It's called monetary heroin, and that's exactly what our system is. It's a fractional reserve system that eats off itself. Every dollar they lend out, or the dollar they take in, they got to lend out 10 for interest to make that back dollar, and it always just keeps eating itself. It's a failed system, and it's failing fast. It's sinking fast. As every nation, the BRICS nations have been around for 17 years now. 17 years. You're going to wake up one morning in America, I believe we're going to be obsolete. Yeah, monetary heroin. They keep needing more to stay high. That's what's going on with this system right now in America. It's called a fiat fractional reserve lending system. For every dollar, they're a short-term borrower and a long-term lender. Obviously, most people don't pay attention to economics. They don't realize what's happening to America is economic. And they like to sit around and play the World of Warcraft all day, or Twitch or Twit or X or whatever they do, or Hub. I don't know what you do all day, but some of us pay attention to what's going on, and we need to realize that the BRICS nations have been around for 17 years. Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, another 35 added, another 35 now recently, another 99 have put in their application. So you're going to wake up one morning in America and all the power is going to be shifted, and they're doing a cooperation. Notice China, they're not out blowing people up. They're not out using weapons of mass destruction and overtaking. They don't have 800 military bases. They go in cooperation and build people's infrastructure. They put them in debt, and they better be careful with that. But, they're using our fractional reserve system. They're the first ones to do a paper currency, not money. Money, this is money. Paper's not money, right? So they're the first one. There's been 4,000 paper currencies since the inception in the 12th century. So China's the best at doing it. China's the best at doing it. It is there because everything is set up. Conquistador. But remember, they've got ghost cities. They've got infrastructure. They've got infrastructure in other countries. They've been playing the paper thing. Of all the gold, they're a net importer of gold. They don't sell any gold. They only buy gold. So they've been taking this paper system, which they know better than anybody because they're the first ones to try it. 4,000 of them have always failed, gone back to their, inherent value of toilet paper. I have it there somewhere. I never have some cash, but I got robbed. And I have not been able to get caught up since I did. So this is currency. This is money. This is money. This is currency. So the China in the 12th century were the very first people to try, instead of having, money, to try paper. There's been 4,000 different one of these. Okay, 4,000 different one of these since the 12th century, and they've all failed. Every single one of them's gone to zero. This has never gone to zero in 7,000 years. So the Chinese know that, and they're long playing this. And that's what they've been doing. They've been taking this paper and using it and going to other infrastructures. Instead of blowing their infrastructure up, they go help them build infrastructure, build them bridges, build them infrastructure in their countries, going all around, building dams and all these things. So this is cooperation. Russia, China, Brazil, South Africa, India, there's another 99 nations that just asked for application to the BRICS. And they're doing this in a cooperation. They said they were going to have a BRICS dollar, but guess what? They're smarter than that. They're smarter than that. They decided they were going to go ahead and just price it in all their own currencies because they're brilliant. What they're doing over there is smart. I don't care. I hate America. I know not. Oh, well, they're going to go move over there. Pound sand. I'm a vet. I'm going to stay right here until this ship goes down. I'm going down with the ship. But this is what's costing. They print $1 trillion every 100 days, guys. They're printing of bonds and to keep this stock market afloat. So instead of paying their debt, China takes the money and goes and builds infrastructure, ghost cities, and Russia's building icebreakers, and China's now has the largest navy in the world. Hardening their naval fleet, not going with all this stupid rail guns and all the, they've taken and outfitted with all their fishing boats to turn them into military vessels. They've been getting ready for this, guys. We're going to wake up one morning in America and it's going to be obsolete. All the silver right now, if you look online and you look up China, they're telling their citizens to go buy gold and silver, basically mainly gold. And there's a mad cooperation. They're not trampling each other like Americans over Xboxes and PlayStations, Black Friday. They are literally flooding their stores over there, jewelry stores, coin shop, anybody who sells gold, any kind of gold, they're buying. And in India, they're buying these little shots like BB type. It's called shot, gold or silver. It's a gram. There's a name. I can't remember what the name it is. And they're buying whatever they can get their hands on. The whole world outside of America right now is moving into precious metals. You guys, I hope you understand that gold throughout history, I encourage you to keep your political nonsense and doom and gloom out of here, okay? Look at the price of gold. This is silver, and it's an indicator of chaos. Because when there's issues, everybody always rushes back to something they know that's tangible, dividable, a store of value that won't be inflated to, this is the safe haven asset. It always has been, and it always will be since the beginning of time. Remember, it's just since the 12th century they tried this. This has always been money. This isn't money. This is currency. In order for it to be money, it has to be a store of value, and this does nothing but lose value. So it has to be dividable. You have to be able to make change with it. So this is currency, but this is not money. Okay. And these people in other countries know that, guys, because we have forced and $1 trillion every 100 days, guys. The U.S. has to keep it going. It would take me, if I paid you $1 million a day, it would take me over 360,000 years to pay you $1 trillion back. To pay you $1 trillion. So it can never be back. And the whole world knows that, brothers, sisters. So the whole world is moving into gold and silver right now. Gold is at an all-time high right now. Okay. And that is an indicator, because there's a lot of chaos going on. If you ain't one of these people that ain't going, oh man, everything's awesome, nothing's happening. No. In China right now, they are telling their citizens to go buy gold. In India, they are buying gold. In Taiwan, they are buying. David Devine just left Tennessee about a month ago, try to find this cycle of the water cycle that I've been trying to tell you guys about. So he's gone to Myanmar, he's gone to Croatia, he's gone over to Egypt, he's been all over. He's in Taiwan right now. He says everywhere he goes outside the U.S., the whole world is abuzz right now, because they know this whole American thing is about done. You know, this whole petro force you, we'll go stop you and blow your, you know, Gaddafi, the weapons of mass distraction, Saddam. They never did find any, correct? You know, this is paper, and it's always going to go to zero. So if you look right now, I encourage you when you get off here to go look, and you'll see the whole world's buying gold and silver. They, next to the Basel agreements, guys, that's through the central banks. A bond or a treasury, the U.S. dollar was the only tier 1 asset. And after the Basel III agreement, it made gold a tier 1 asset. And since then, the central banks have been buying. I don't have any gold, but they've been buying. I'm a poor man, so I haven't even bought a Silver Eagle, a new one. I haven't bought silver in like 4 or 5 years, guys. It's been a long time. But the central banks are buying more gold they did in 2023 than they have since 1913, the inception of the central banks. So it's the world's a buzz. And like over at the Shanghai Gold Exchange right now, they're paying more for the gold over there. They're paying more for the gold over there. You understand? They're paying more. So people are getting, if you're wealthy and you have gold at an all-time high right now, they're giving you a higher premium over there than they are at the London Metal, the LBMA, the London Metal Bullion Exchange. They're paying more at the Shanghai Gold Exchange for physical metal. So if you bring it over there, they'll give you more. This is how they're taking all the gold out of the West, guys, and making it swing over to the East. That's how they're doing this. That's how it's done. People don't realize it, but remember, it's a logarithmic decay. People are asleep at the wheel in America. Who do you hear in America talking, buzzing about gold right now? All your friends buzzing about gold? No, what are they buzzing about? Taylor Swift, halftime show, make America great again. Nonsense. Just a bunch of horse pucky, just a bunch of garbage. They're not putting anything away for a rainy day. They're not being wise. They're being foolish. And I'm not trying to be, a dick, but that's the American mindset right now. Oh, everything is awesome when you're part of the team, America. It's getting old. Sitting there watching people. You want to see what's going on in America right now? Let me show you. This is America. Anybody know Childish Gambino? This is America. We're taking all our money, all our gold, our pile of gold back there. See, our pile of gold's almost gone. Throwing it all at China, and they're throwing dollars. They got a big pile of dollars, and they're throwing all their dollars at us getting our gold. This is exactly what's going on right now. And not just here in America, around these other countries. So I saw this meme. I'm like, yep, this is exactly where we're at. See our pile of gold back there? We're throwing it over to China, and they're throwing their pile of dollars at us, buying up all the gold. So that's it. That is America, the State of the Union. Joe Biden just said that, remember? I'm going to keep throwing money at Ukraine. I'm going to keep throwing money at Ukraine. I'm going to keep throwing money at the immigrants. I'm going to keep throwing money at the immigrants. I'm going to give them $1,800 to $2,300 a month in Maine per month for 2 years. And then we'll reduce the rent to 30%. We'll keep throwing dollars at them so we keep the system going, right? I'm going to throw money at the at the immigrants, Ukraine. No bodies, money, print, bomb. But America. That was the speech. If you didn't watch it, I watched it. He was brilliant. He knocked it out of the park, man. He was brilliant. He's a pedo, but he did not stumble, but just a couple times, and didn't even have to re-say the word. Knocked it out of the park, just like I told everybody. Biden is an actor. There is nothing wrong with him. It's Donald Trump that ran the cover sleepy, because he was creepy until he campaigned. Mr. Trump went on his campaign and started calling him sleepy, because Donald Trump is creepy, the guy who decorates his house with Satan and calls himself the sun god. So this is the state of the union right now. Yeah, land, food. They've been buying up all the food, all the grains, all the rice. You know, a lot of other nations are getting ready for this, but America's just sitting on their thumb right now. Most Americans have no idea what's going on right now. So I encourage you, when we get off this live stream, I might take a break here for a minute, guys. Make some lunch or something. I'll come back on here. We'll do another stream. And but this is happening right now. And I encourage you to go look if we end this here in a little bit, go look at China right now. Look at China buying gold, and you'll see they're just massive. And I mean, there's a remember how many there are of them. You know what I'm saying? Look at how they're doing it. They're cooperating. Nobody's trampling anybody, and everybody wants in on it. And you guys, there's going to be a massive run up in Bitcoin. Obviously, there already is. There's a massive amount of money moving in that space. So I believe that's kind of a sidetrack, just like it did. It pulled more money out of the stock market than it ever been before. Bitcoin did exactly what it was supposed to do. People made money on it. So I'm not a Bitcoin hater. I don't ever want to make $1 off Bitcoin, not a single penny off of Bitcoin. So, but if you can right now and make a lifestyle change that could happen overnight, not be so filthy rich that you won't pass through the eye of a needle, right? But have a life-changing event, then there's going to be a good run up, I believe, in Bitcoin right now too. So if you feel that it's not going to mess with anything with you, I just personally don't want it. Like, I personally don't eat pork. I'm not any other kind of law. I just don't want. I don't eat pork because I don't want to, but I'm not under any. That's just my choice. So I don't want to throw shade on Bitcoin, because I believe Bitcoin is going to hit 250,000, maybe 500,000. It could even hit 1 million. Who knows what it can do? I've looked at the cycles of it. I understand the halving. I understand. Look at how high priced it is before the halving now. So I'm not off. I know these. I study these cycles. All these economic cycles are something I pay very close details daily, and have for decades. So it's not new news to me. And, so if you can, I would definitely try to put something, that will never go to zero if the power goes off. You won't lose your money. You'll probably never get rich. I'm not saying that you're going to get rich by this, but you won't lose. Remember, 4,000, the lights go out, definitely going to zero. This has never gone to zero. Gold and silver in the last 6,000-7,000 years never gone to zero. That's why nations held on to it. Kingdoms held on to it. They used to fight each other over this stuff, guys. Kingdoms, now they fight each other over IOUs and tennis shoes and football jerseys. The decay of society. So please don't be the decay of society, guys. Go out and do something that's, worthwhile. And I'm tired of this military industrial complex, because in every tank, computer screen, drone, satellite, aircraft carrier, Black Hawk, Apache, Humvee, Bearcat, NRAP, all of it takes this to fund all that black goo. So if you can get these away from them, guys, not be rich. If you can get these away from them right now, you could probably save a life, because there's 500 ounces in the tip of a smart missile. In the tip of a smart missile, it takes with the guidance system. And when it lands and it hits whatever it hits, whether it's in the sky or on the ground, hitting another missile or hitting something on the ground, those 500 ounces are decimated. They never come back. They're gone. Done. Bonita. Over. Through. Ain't no sense in sending them to ICU. Dead. That's a wrap. That's the end of that. Gone. Never to return. So if you can take some of this away from them, maybe they won't have the circuitry to release robot dogs to come bang in your door. DARPA dogs and DARPA robots all take silver. I'm tired of this green agenda. Take back the silver and we can smash the stupid green agenda with their failing electric vehicles that take a massive amount of this silver and copper. Solar, big, huge wind turbines. You know how much silver's in one of those wind turbines? Get back in the closet, Al Gore. He said there was going to be no snow. Your children never see snow again. Brothers and sisters, they used to fight over tennis shoes, right? Nope. They used to fight over IOUs. Nope. They used to fight over football jerseys. Nope. They used to fight over real money. Real money. Not paper. Debt notes. So I encourage you to take a look into something like this to be able to retain your value as they keep inflating this into infinity. I didn't say you'll get rich, but I said if you take some of these away from the military industrial complex, you could probably save lives. I know. I'm guilty. I'm a veteran. I know. So we use this to kill women and children. This is what it takes to kill women and children, guys. That's pretty sickening. They sold Christ for 30 pieces of this. It was and is God's money. I don't think he'd be very happy about this. They'll throw their gold and the silver in the streets. They'll throw their gold and silver in the streets, 500 at a time on top of children's heads, on buildings, hospitals. They'll throw their gold and the silver in the streets. Oh, that's when gold's not worth anything and you can't eat it. Okay. They'll throw their gold and the silver in the streets at 500 an ounce at a time, guys, in the type of a smart missile. Help me to help bring down this military industrial complex and save lives. Yeah, you might be able to retain a little of your value and save a life at the same time. Probably one of the coolest things that I don't know how I haven't come up with this. This is all God doing it. All glory to him. Okay. Take these back, guys. Get some of these because it is money. I'm not telling you I'm not a silver pusher. I don't sell silver. I don't have that much silver, So, but see what I'm saying, Vicky? They use this. Do not fool yourself, Vicky. It took silver to do what they've done. I'm a realist. You know that. And when I'm onto something, I stay, and I find, this is, I don't think anybody else on the internet right now is doing what I'm doing again. And I'm not asking for any special treatment. Somebody want to buy me send me a CashApp or something, I might buy a piece of silver because I haven't in 4 or 5 years, but I probably buy dog food, not silver at this point. Probably buy myself a water filter for somebody else. I don't want anything for me. So anyways, if you'll take these away from them, guys, you can probably save a life and retain some of your value in what you want, because they keep printing $1 trillion of this up through bonds and treasuries every 100 days, which makes these worth less every single day. So remember, they couldn't have killed women and children without this. It takes this to fund the life. This is, you've heard 100 million times, oil is the lifeblood of the military industrial complex. No, in every machine normally that takes oil, takes silver. Takes silver to do that. Do you understand? Takes silver to do that. It takes silver to put in that machine to fund that oil burning machine. What it takes in the circuitry, it still takes silver. If you didn't have the silver, that machine would probably not work. This is way more important. So I'm almost finished. I'll call you back here in just 1 minute. I was going to end this stream here. So that's my message for you guys. I'm not a silver pusher. I'm not selling any silver. Thank you, Wayne. I wish I could have found this out like 10 years ago. Imagine how much silver we can have in our possession, guys, away from them. You know what I'm saying? Imagine how much silver we could have. I'm rich. Man, I have that. And maybe if it takes 500 of these ounces to drop on the top of a child's head and $4.99, it won't go. And you got one, man, you did a good thing. You did a good thing, man. You see what I'm saying? You did a good thing. Does that make sense? Yeah, there you go. You guys, you should do this. Honestly, I'm going to say that. Thank you, Wayne. Thank you, Wayne. Look, it doesn't matter what the price of metal is. If you can cost average, right, metal's really cheap right now compared to how much they printed. But if you just take a little bit of your monopoly money, like Wayne said, take some of your fake money and go buy a little bit of real money every month. I know you got bills, and if you can't spend a dime on it, you shouldn't be buying any of this unless you got a water filter and some beans, something put away for a rainy day, something in a bag, food and water and a way to protect it. And then you could look into something like this. Okay. But what I'm saying is this right now could save a life. If you take this away from the military industrial complex, they're going into a very advanced time. So if you just bought some every time, people have been doing this, guys, for 20 years, and they don't care about the price. They're called the hodlers. They hold on for dear life, and they know one day this manipulation will be up. Okay. So I'm not giving economic advice, but if you just took some of your fake paper money that loses value every day as they print more and bought this, it would have already made up. Okay. It's not going to lose its value. That's what it is. That's why people hold it. So if you can, because I'm not trying to get you to buy a whole bunch right now. I think even if you were able to buy one at like $26, $27 or something for a buffalo right now, hey, one is better than none. What I'm telling you though is that if you cost average it and you don't care every month, you buy 1 or 2 rounds. It doesn't matter the price. You just buy it because the ratio is what you should be watching. I don't want to get into all of that. I'm going to end the stream here. I'll come back on if you guys give me subscribe. Maybe we'll talk about silver right out the gate. When we open up, we'll open with silver and some of this talk too. But because I do want to continue to talk about the fact that I don't care the value of this. I don't care how much this is worth. I care that if you take this from the United States Army, the United States Navy, the United States Air Force, the United States Marines, they'll stop killing people in the 800 military bases and putting it in all the war machines, and you could save a life. Okay? So, remember what you said about your wife. Yes, she's a blasphemy, apostasy to God. There's no such thing as speaking in tongues. I haven't forgotten, Mountain Man. I don't know how you even got back in here, but I've seen you in there. So, yeah, I called out your wife. If she says she's speaking in tongues, she's an apostasy to God. There's no such thing as speaking in tongues. If you say it again, I'm going to call you out as a brute beast, just as Christ would call you out. You're brutish in nature. You have an unwillingness to be learned. I gave you more than enough example. Your wife didn't speak in no tongues. Your wife spoke psychobabble. And if you interpreted it, you're into this lunacy nonsense as well. So, yeah, I said your wife is a lunatic, with the psychobabble speaking in tongues. There's no such thing as speaking in tongues. You got my attention again. You like it? I'll call you out as a brute beast. If you don't listen to me again, I don't have to even try to change you. You're brutish in nature. You're stubborn like a donkey. You have an unwillingness to be learned. Like a mule, you're acting like an ass. So you'll be moderated if you don't be quiet and you're interrupting me now. Your wife never spoke in tongues. That's blasphemy. And if you condone that, then you're a demon and you're distributing lies and fortunes to others. That's what a demon is. You're acting like a demon and an ass. So either way, brothers, sisters, if you give me a follow, so no such thing as speaking in tongues, guys. No such thing as aliens. Heaven's not someplace in the sky. Stop with the nonsense. Stop with the lies. You've been watching too much television. You could be a buffalo herder. You could be a buffalo herder. Okay, and have a herd of buffaloes. They don't have to feed them. Okay, these things are quiet. They don't wander off. But anyways, yeah, his wife's speaking in tongues. That's lunacy, lunar worship, lunar, pagan. You don't know what it means. The word lunatic means. Lunacy, lunar, moon worship, grow, tree, owl. All pagans are lunatics. All Christians are lunatics. All Baptists are lunatics. The Pope is a lunatic. He wears that daggone fish hut. Remember the one that Satan married his mom? Epipen Island much? Yeah, the daggone fish god, the son of Satan who married his mom, Semiramis. Yeah. Let's not go there. Okay, no, I don't want to interrupt teaching here. So, did somebody say mercury dime? What happened there? Mercury dime. That would be a mercury dime. A knockoff of a mercury dime. So, if you take these away, If you take these away, right? If you take these away, I don't care about the price of this metal. I'm not in it to try to get to even have you to buy it for money, which is money. They sold Christ for 30 pieces of silver. So I proof right there it's money. The silver dinar was the first money in the Bible. But if you take these away, you take them away from the United States military, who keeps dropping these, sometimes 500 at a time. That's a monster box, brothers and sisters. If you buy a monster box, that's 500. I've never had no monster box of silver, but if you have a monster box of silver, that's 500 of these ounces that goes in the tip of a smart missile, and they drop that on women and children. So if you can save one of these, I don't know, again, if 499 wouldn't make it work, but remember, there's drones, computer satellites, DARPA dogs that are going to kick in your door, DARPA Terminator robots that are going to kick in your door, the whole stupid green agenda. So I don't care how much this is worth. I'm not doing this for any. I'm poor, man. Porizzo. I'm poor. I don't have extra money. I spend it on other people, food, other things that are more important to me for later than this. But I do believe, honestly, if I really truly became wealthy for something, I would probably go buy silver right now over these water filters and all these other things, because think this is so awesome what I'm onto. Meaning that this is what funds the military industrial complex. This is the lifeblood of the military industrial complex. I don't care about it for money. I don't care that they sold Christ for 30 pieces of it. I don't care if it goes to $1 million. I don't care if it goes to zero. I care that they use it in the war machine called America. And I want you to try, if you can, financially, in any way, shape, or form, to put one in your coffer somewhere to take it away from this disgusting, filthy machine that I served. I'm a veteran. Maybe you can help me. You want to help me with my PTSD that I hate that I serve this disgusting tyrant nation? You want to help me? Buy one for you and buy one for me and send me one, and I'll feel better that I got one and you got one. How about that? One for you, one for me. Send me one, put one away for yourself. Every one you send me, I'll feel that much better. Not because I'm rich. That's one more that wouldn't be dropped on a woman or a child or a building. They'll throw their gold and the silver in the streets, not meaning it's worthless, meaning they're dropping these at 500 at a time, ounces that are decimated and gone. That's it. Drop them on the head, child's dead, silver's gone. Can you help me, please? I don't think there's another YouTuber, TikToker, Rumbler, X, Kick. Talking about what I'm telling you right now. This is organic. I just discovered this. I don't know why. I've been a silver bug for a lot. How did I not figure this out before? Because they kept telling us, oil's the lifeblood, black glue, oil's the lifeblood. I kind of fell for it, guys. We all buy in. We get schooled, programmed, whatever. Cool. Yeah, don't share it with anybody, big dog. Don't give it back to them. I don't care how much it costs. Please don't give it back to them, because they'll take it. They got all the paper printer. Remember? They got the paper printer. So they got all the money. They can print it all. See, price is a tool of manipulation, guys. It doesn't matter. Watch. Oh, my God, the price of silver is falling. It's back down to 15 bucks. Oh my God, it's falling. I better sell it before I get broke. That makes you take it out of your mason jar, out of your safe, dig it up from the backyard, right? Dig it up from the backyard and sell it to them. They've got the paper printers. They're going to give you paper for it, right? Now you got paper. Good for you. You bought it with paper and you gave it back to them for paper. That's not how this should ever work. You trade these 3 pieces for an acre of land. We're about ready to see a massive decrease in a lot of assets in America, guys. Housing's going to crash. The commercial market is crashing. Housing's going to crash. The car market is going to crash. It's going to be so cheap. They're already, go look at I've never seen a car sell for over the MSRP. That happened during the COVID, guys. People, all the weight that they spent. There's like, I watched Economic Ninja. He said he was down at his Toyota dealership, and he said they had that car not marked in polish, but like lipstick. They needed to get this thing out of there. $9,000 under the MSRP, guys, for that Toyota. So all this stuff you want to hold on to for dear life, and then you're going to go trade that for the Toyota truck. I got, I went and sold mine and somebody stole my money. Maybe someday I'll get the money back that has been taken from me, but I wouldn't have gone and seek vengeance after anybody. I'll be smart and be wise. I'll have some of this and I'll trade it back, not for dollars ever. You never take this and trade it for paper money. If you need to, you can go liquidate it, pay your bills in an emergency, guys. It's, you know what I'm saying? It's okay to do that, but the idea is never to buy it for paper and sell it, even if it's $1 million, guys. That's not going to be an easy world if silver's $2,000, $3,000. Imagine what the world would be like if silver was $3,000. Remember, gold is a barometer, guys, of chaos, and gold is at an all-time high right now. So the idea is to take this 3 pieces. I don't have a property in town, in the little town, okay, of Christmas Valley. All my properties in Silver Lake. I've got 65 acres out here in Silver Lake. Okay, Silver Lake. Get it? But I don't have any property in Christmas Valley. You know what I'm saying? I don't have any property in Christmas Valley. Okay, give me 1 second. Maybe when this is harder to obtain, because peak silver was back in 2016, they've been producing less and less and there's more demand. Maybe they have like 1/4 acre lots, 1/3 acre lots in town, little lots up in the Christmas Valley area. I don't own a lot. I think it'd be cool to have a lot up in town. I don't know. I just set up a little cabin, hook it up to the grid. I think it'd be neat to have. I can invite people to come out here from out of town and they can go up into the town. They wouldn't have to come out here to the property. Just to use it, for something to use for other people. See, I'm always thinking about other people. It really wouldn't be to me. I could use it for other people. I don't know. When I go up to town, maybe if I didn't want to come back to the property, or again, I would just probably use it for other people, guys, as like a little, Airbnb. Hey, step my little Airbnb over there, and you can stay the night when you come into town, or if you're in time, you don't even need to come out here to the farm. You can just right off the road over there. I could probably trade these 3 pieces of silver, which would be less than $100 right now for these 3 pieces of silver. Right now, you could purchase these 3 pieces of silver from APMEX, JM Bullion, SD Bullion, any one of these online dealers, okay, or your local coin shop. If you hear, my son is in the chat, and he's talking about his local coin shop. You need to establish, if you need to sell these, God forbid, you need to get money back. Something came up. I just got robbed, guys. I almost had to sell my silver, and I decided not to sell my silver. I decided to sell the generator instead of the silver, because I think the price of silver is going to go up where I wouldn't be able to replace these, where I think the generator might get quite expensive too, but I think that the generator will be more, this gonna go up a lot. But my idea is that I could trade these $300 now, less than $100, for a 1/3 acre of land in the future. For a 1/3 acre of land in the future. Cool. Brother Jim's on. Nice. So that is my idea, is not to trade this for, maybe I've never had a nice, I wanted to trade this 5-ounce bar. I wanted to trade this 5-ounce bar because my driveway is such a wreck. It's so muddy. I've been working on it for 7 years. I've never been able to fix it other than with a shovel, throwing sagebrush back in the hole and covering it up with the rake, guys. I just don't have the funds. I bought things for other people. This is a 5-ounce bar. This is a 5-ounce bar. I plan on trading this for maybe 25 loads of gravel, because I don't know if there's 3 or 4 people who do gravel in town, and probably 2 or 3 of them, maybe 2 of them, don't have any silver. And when it gets a little harder to obtain, because I think it'd be unaffordable, because the price will go up, increase dramatically. It'll catch up. It always does. Gold leads out. Silver takes higher highs and lower lows. But I could trade this. Silver jewelry is good. Nothing wrong with silver jewelry. It's 925 most of the time, sterling, but it's silver, so there's nothing wrong with that. 925. This silver is 90%. You know, that's 90% U.S. Walking Liberty or Eagle, right? So again, the idea that I'm trying to make with you guys is you never buy this for paper and sell it back for paper. If you can, then fine. You know, it gets expensive, then go buy your $1 million tractor when it's that expensive. So my idea was to take this 5 ounce bar, and keep this hopefully long enough that one of these guys that deliver gravel out here in this valley will trade this for about 20 loads of gravel. And I think a load of gravel is about $150 right now, guys. $200 for some, you know, pit run, or there's a cinder guy that does cinders out here. I'd love to have red cinder all around all the properties, and then gravel like 3/4 minus out on the roads, or they call that pit run out here. So that's what I'm hoping to do with this. I don't ever want to trade this for money. I want to trade this for gravel. You know what I'm saying? Doesn't matter what the price is. Stop looking at the price. Price is a tool of manipulation. I don't care how much the price it is. So again, lastly, I'm going to get off here, guys. I'm going to show my son this piece of silver that he wanted to see, and I'm going to take a break, get something to eat. If you divided all the silver on the earth, if you divided all the silver, it's $25 an ounce, so it's got to be more like $150 plus, you know. So if you divided all the surface silver, you guys, this price, you guys are silly. It does not matter the price of silver. Silver and gold do not change in price. I don't care if silver went to $1,000 an ounce, guys. It's because it's going to make up for everything else that's expensive. Stop thinking about price. Price has nothing to do with it. Gold does not go up in price. It's the purchasing power that it holds, that what it will buy you. Do you understand? Yeah, we didn't say, Micah, that you couldn't interest in Bitcoin. Go ahead and throw cast shade on a precious metal. And when this earth gets EMP'd and you got no money, okay, because your zeros and ones went to zero, maybe you were smart enough to cash some of that Bitcoin out and buy silver and gold as this next run up. I've told people, go ahead and get into the market. Look how much is sitting in the market cap before halving right now. It's going to go to possibly quarter, half. So don't throw shade in here, please. I'll just crush people like you stupid Bitcoin people that want to shade on precious metals. You're disgustingly filthy. This is God's metal. You're playing with zeros and ones. My son came to me when Bitcoin was $300 a coin, and I was going to the coin shop with $3,000 because I had just sold a motorhome. And he's like, Dad, buy these. You never listen to me. It's this new thing. I'm telling you this. I've been watching it, Dad. Buy these. You can buy 10 of these coins. That was $3,000, guys. I could have bought 10 coins. Bitcoin's gone up to what? I don't care that I didn't make a dime on Bitcoin. I don't want to make any money on Bitcoin. Not a dime. But if you want to, I look at how much money's moved in the market space. That thing's going to blow up like no tomorrow. And if you could make a life changing in a month or two where I didn't get it, good for you. Don't become so rich that you can't pass through the eye of a needle. And I warn you about taxes. I don't like taxes. But if you make $1 million, you better have $2 million to cover your taxes so you don't get yourself in trouble. I'm not about paid, but don't get yourself in trouble when you have a large gain. Capital gains taxes, make sure you take care of that. Make your $1 million, make your $2 million. $1 million ain't nothing. The medium home price in Bend is $800,000. $1 million ain't nothing in this world that we live in, guys. For real. I mean, whatever. I don't have any money. I don't have any income, and I live off nothing every month. But to the average person, you know, in Bend, Oregon, it's $800,000. So make $1 million, make 2, make 3, make 5, make 10. Put half of it in precious metals. Put whatever. Do what you want, okay? So I'm not telling people to not get into the Bitcoin space or whatever. I choose not to, and I think it's going to be a huge run-up in. Remember, all vessels rise in a rising tide. So all these coins will go up, guys. I know economics better than most economists that have been in, because they have a very narrow field of study. I like to study global and geopolitics and global economics, geoeconomics, not just, you know, in the country I'm in and the history, where it's going, NERP, ZERP, some of these things have never been seen. You got to be fluid. You know what I'm saying? So if they took all the surface silver, it will, gamer, I agree. And that's why you should get in the run up and take some of your it's never wrong to take profit. pull some of your profit, buy a nice little piece of land, buy a tractor, buy a water filter, buy yourself a power system. You know, mine's dirt cheap. This is nothing compared, but people have massive solar. Buy yourself a solar system, you know, buy yourself a water power. Get yourself out of those profits. Never wrong to take profit and buy some assets with it. Right up that zeros and ones. Nothing wrong with that. Then when it goes to zero, you already got assets. You're like, okay, well, whatever. I already diversify. Okay, guys, it's just called diversity. You know, I'm not giving you any economic advice. So, okay. If you took all the surface silver, okay, that's on the surface, and you divided it amongst the population on this earth right now, there's only enough silver for everybody to have a total of 8 ounces. 8 ounces total. So if somebody's got a smart bomb and got 500, well, a lot of people aren't getting some then, correct? If we took all the surface silver right now that's on the surface and divided amongst all the population of the world, there's only enough for everybody to have 8 ounces each, guys. 8 ounces each. So I've got another one hiding here somewhere on this property. Well, then you're going to get 7. So I'm just saying, I'm not pushing. Again, buy water filters, buy land. Do you measure your wealth in dollars and cents, or ounces and pounds and acres, you know, and tractors and propane tanks full of propane, you know, and little buddy heaters and solar panels, you know? So I don't measure my wealth in dollars and cents. It just loses its value. I measure my wealth in ounces and acres. I'm not that rich. So. No, full propane tanks full of propane. So my son wants to see this piece of silver, then I need to get something to eat. Knowledge is a good way too. Because, yeah, that's a good way. Me too. I have more knowledge than I do silver or gold or land. So, absolutely. That's how I started this stream earlier, telling them that I was just so blessed. I can't believe how wealthy I am when it comes to knowledge, how much, and I'm still trying to gain more. You know, never tried to stop gaining that wealth. My treasure in heaven, which treasure up here on earth or in heaven. So, all right, where is that? So, okay, remember, anything that's 1964 or older, guys, that's a quarter, is still, you don't see that silver on the side, or the copper on the side is 90% silver. So they're still out there in circulation, by the way. If you look through your change, every once in a while, you'll find one. Not a bunch of them, but they're still out there. So look through your change. If you got some change, got an old change bucket, anything that's 1964 or older is going to be 90% silver, guys. Dimes and half pieces, 50-cent pieces. So, all right, is your lady still around there, Elijah? I apologize, it took me a little longer. You know me, I'm always long in the tooth. So here's a 50-cent Kennedy. Okay, here's a 50-cent Kennedy, guys. Look at this piece. It's kind of a neat piece that I had bought from a coin guy. It was sitting on his desk. I've never seen this before. Kind of a neat piece, though. And this is 1964. So it is 90% silver. So, okay. My son is asking to see this. This is a silver maple. What year is this from? 85 or 95? I can't see it. I'll have to look on the. This is a silver maple. This is 999 fine. So this would be, what does that say? 85 or 95? I think this is 95. My camera sucks. 4G. These old eyes don't work like they used to. That's for sure. But you notice I'm not wearing the glasses. I was thinking that the other day. I'm like, man, I'm so glad. Thank you, Elijah, for telling me not to wear the glasses because my eyes have been hammered by now. Think about how bad my eyes would be if I was still wearing those $1 glasses. 95. I just couldn't see it because of the shadow. So this is a silver maple, and this is 4/9 fine silver from the Canadian Mint. Okay, and the older, obviously, the older, the younger the queen will be. Some people won't even own a piece of silver with the queen on it, guys. There are people who will not buy anything with the queen's face on it. Okay, so and there's a reason why. But anyways, this has it's a beautiful coin. I really like. I've always been I think Canadian maples are really, they're just nice design. The high relief on the back of the maple. They do this in very. They do this in a variation where they make a reverse where it would be powdery. Maybe the leaf will be powdery and it'd be shiny, or maybe the outer portion would be shiny and the end would be, they do so. But this is just a standard maple leaf. And my son wanted to see this because they make a knockoff round of this. Obviously, people don't want to have a coin with the queen on it because we know exactly who the coin is. It says keep calm and slave on because we know the system. They're, in the pants, keep it in the family kind of deal, right? But so this would be the, literally shows she's all scold, right? She got the queen. So it says keep calm and slave on, right? And then on the back where the maple leaf is, where it's got the maple leaf, this one has the cannabis leaf. So instead of Canada, it says cannabis. Thought it said something else on there too, but fine silver ounces. No, okay. So it has that maple, but it has the relief of the cannabis leaf over the top of it. Kind of a different God's medicine, God's money, right? God's medicine and God's money all on one coin. Yeah, well, I'm trying the best I can, man. Look at my camera, it's flashing and stuff, so. I don't know why it does that. Is it doing that on it's surging? You can still see the maple underneath it, barely. So. There's the original. And there is the so kind of a funny knockoff there. Keep calm and slave on, it says. So that's why people they don't want to own anything with the queen on it. And I know people have been in the silver, game for 30 years plus, I know people who will not purchase, they will not own anything with the queen's face on it. This one, well, it would probably be through Silver Shield. This one here, if you're talking about this one, you could probably just look up Canadian cannabis coin. And there's a lot of different companies that make this. Silver Shield was the first company. I don't even think this is a Silver Shield coin. But Silver Shield is a company that makes a lot of neat coins like this that something on them that's going to cost you a couple bucks more than a normal coin. But oh man, I can't get this out of this. So this is from this thing that my son wanted to see. This is from the 9 fine mint. This is a 9 fine mint. See, it's got all the little And this is a 2-ounce UFO coin. That's 395. It's 2 ounces. And I have it in a little something to cover it to keep, So this is it was called a spinner coin. It has it's a UFO right here. I don't normally buy anything like this, but this is the price. I bought this during the pandemic about 4 years ago, when the price of metal just came back down to where I could afford it. I would always buy metal or try to buy something that was under $25. That's how I always set my limit long time ago. But it has that little tip on it right there that it spins on. So if you set it on the ground, it we could spin it around on a and this is the little UFO round. And it's quite thick. It's 2 ounces. So it's like a coin, or a button. They have buttons like this. It's not going to show like that, but it says 2 ounces on the bottom. Kind of a neat. Like I said, you set it on the ground, and because it's got that little, I'm not sure if you can see it, it's that little tip right there in the middle. It sticks up on it off the edge, and it keeps it up off just enough to keep it so it'll yeah, silver top. There you go. That's what it is. You spin it and it spins around like a UFO. So it's cute. I don't normally buy things like this, obviously, but I bought this during the old spam-demic. But kind of neat. Pretty cool. So I don't normally buy things like that, guys. If I had a recommendation, I'd buy nothing but buffaloes and be a buffalo herder. So I'm not giving any economic advice, but if I was right now, could buy any coin other than, constitutional silver, like old silver dimes or silver quarters, the older silver dimes. Actually shy away from those guys too. Here's what I'm showing you. Look, let me give you a little, you see how worn down that is, this coin right here? Look, you can't even see the eagle on the back. Look, hardly, right? These coins are generally going to be the same price at the coin shop. Look at how much smaller that one is, too. Almost. It's a tiny bit smaller. I mean, barely. I can feel the difference. Just a little bit. Yeah, you can almost see that. Look. See that? You can see it. It's a little bit. See how it's, so it's smaller. Right? It's thinner. So you want to go with these, anything, even if it's 1964, get them as close as you can to 64. It's cool to own the old one. That's why I have one. I have one because I wanted one, right? Something different. So here's a mercury dime because I wanted to have an old dime. I think it's neat to think that how many pockets that's been in, how many different pockets that's been in, maybe what it's bought or what it's. So I kind of think old coins, but I don't collect those. But these are the same thing as a Roosevelt dime. So anything 64. So my point that I'm making, that I'm trying to show you is, you see how worn this is? They're the same price right now. This is constitutional silver, but you see that's thicker and that's thinner. So if they weighed this up, if they threw all of these, if they threw all those in a bin and you were just buying it because you were buying it by the, the silver price where they're selling it to you times face, like right now, the silver price times face is 20 or something like that. 20 or something like that, right? $20 times face, 18 times face. I bought this when this was $5 times face. That means I could get 10 dimes for $5. That'd be a standing liberty, not a walking liberty, but a standing. See, a standing liberty. Quarter. A standing liberty. You can't even hardly see it because there. But so my point that I'm making is that you Shy away from these. I used to think it was so cool to get the mercury dimes and get the, get the older metal, but there's less metal. There's less metal in these coins, guys. So when they put them in the thing, when you buy them in a bag and they're all times face, because you're still buying 10 dimes. Oh, nothing sounds like silver. Nothing sounds like silver. So again, so if your bag is, if that's $5 times face, you would have gotten 4 quarters for $5. $5 times face. So face meaning how much? 10 dimes make $1. 4 quarters make $1. So times face value, right? Times $1 of face. $5 face, right? Times the face value of $1. So if you were buying these and they were in a bag, when they weigh those up later, you're going to get less weight because nobody's going to care about how old it is, guys, or what's on it. Actually, you're going to lose weight. See what I'm saying? Look how thinner that is. Look how much it's lost. It weighs less. Does that make sense, guys? See that, what I'm saying? Yeah, they're neat. Get one. They're cool. Get a dime. But then go after this. Anything as close as you can get to 1964, guys. Get as close as you can because it's going to have the least amount of wear on it. If you can find one that's old, I don't mean old like valuable because it's special. I mean, you're just buying the weight. So I personally like silver. When I'm buying 1 ounce rounds, I like the silver buffalo because they made a buffalo nickel. They do make a $50 buffalo round. Maybe someday I'll be able to own a buffalo round. Maybe someday I'll trade some of this silver. I've never had an ounce of gold. Yeah, that's a lot of money. But I'd rather buy 89 ounces of silver right now than 1 ounce of gold. You can get 89 of these for 1 ounce of gold right now. You get 89 of these buffaloes or 1 ounce of gold. What would you rather have, 89 of these or 1 buffalo? But if you guys ever seen, they make a silver, like they make a silver dollar, a silver eagle, they make a $50 buffalo and it has this buffalo on it. Remember a buffalo nickel. So they normally make things that match U.S. currency or something close. So I personally, if I was buying ounces, I wouldn't buy anything but these. And you should diversify, but I'm telling you, people will recognize these. Every time I take this out and put this in somebody's, oh, cool, buffalo. Oh, an Indian. Oh, the Indian head. They recognize it. So constitutional silver, though, you can take it takes 14 dimes to make 1 ounce of the silver. So what would you rather have? That's 14 transactions or 1 transaction? 14 transaction or 1 transaction? 14 transactions or 1 transaction? 89 transactions of silver or 1 transaction of gold? Does that make sense, guys, what I'm telling you? So 1 ounce is a good way to buy. Here's a 1 ounce bar. A 1 ounce bar. I don't like this round because I don't like the flag, but it's silver. It don't matter. I'll trade it off for something someday. But that's a 1 ounce bar, right? You can buy up to 5 or 10. They make bigger bars, but now you got all your money in one, in one pile there, right? See, I want to trade that for gravel. Are you seeing the difference? What I'm saying, guys? So you can put your 1 transaction, 14 times 5, 14 times 5 ounces, 14 times. You see what I'm saying? So it's up to you on how you choose to stack your how you choose to do your stack. But personally, I would go and get a little bit of constitutional silver. It's a little expensive, but it's not too bad right now. It's, definitely more than I've ever paid for it, but it's still not a bad price considering all things. Not giving economic advice, but there's constitutional silver, junk silver. A local coin shop is what the LCS is, your local coin shop. And they're going to give you your best price. Hello, Sonia. And they're going to give you the closest to spot price as opposed to going to a pawn shop and trying to sell it there.
and they're going to have, and then if you don't want to buy it from your APMEX or ST Bullion or JM Bullion on one of the online and wait for it to ship your door, you can go right to your coin shop and you'll be leaving it with it right there in your hand. So they don't sell fake metal at coin shops. They're really good at what they do. You're never going to get a fake at a coin shop. I very seriously doubt it. You might at a pawn shop, but not at a coin shop. And normally they sell jewelry as well. And they'll probably, most coin shops will give you a better price for your jewelry. But you know how cool my coin shop is, guys? Because I've done with them for years. I don't buy a lot of metal. One time I did a job and I found a couple gold necklaces in the job that I did. And I don't like gold, so I just wanted to take it. So I took it to my LCS, my local coin shop, who buys jewelry. They'll buy jewelry too, gold and silver jewelry, platinum, they buy it. Normally coin shops buy jewelry as well. And they'll buy your silver or gold. But when I went into my local coin shop at Mountain High Coin in Bend, Oregon, when I went in there with a couple necklaces, she's like, hey, go over to the pawn shop. They'll give you more money for that right now. I can't give you as much. It's just what they can give you more. She says, I think they can give you, I think it was like, she gave me like $60 or something. She's like, I think they can probably give you over $125 for the same thing right now. And they were right down, down the road a couple miles. So my local coin shop sent me with jewelry that I did on a job or something because I wanted to get more silver with it. And they sent me to the pawn shop because the pawn shop ended up giving me more money, and I came right back and bought silver. See that? See how they work? See how that works, guys? Because I established a relationship with my local coin dealer. She could have just taken my the gold, whatever. The one was a rope or one was and bought them from me and shut up and not say anything. But instead, she sent me to the pawn shop where they gave me twice as much money, and I came back and spent more money in her shop. Twice as much. I got twice as much. So it does pay to have a working relationship with your local coin shop, guys. There's one example right there. Does it make sense? So they like me when I go in there. I talk, like my son's talked about the coin shop. He's been going in there and they talk to him. They're like, wow, you're young. You know a lot about metals and stuff. So it's kind of a fun time to go talk with them or a little bit. They got coffers full of metal, guys. So they don't care if you pay with dollars and leave with metal. They got safes full of this stuff. I'm sure you're in the business. When I was a meat man, I sold meat, frozen meat by the case loads, tons. I had lots of meat in my freezer, right? Tons and tons of meat. My freezers were full of meat all the time. Kind of missed that a little bit. So I'm sure that these local coin shops got plenty of gold and silver in their coffers and their safes. They're a wealth of knowledge to go talk to, and they'll give you the most money for your silver when you need to sell it. God forbid you have to go back and sell it for paper. They'll give you the close, more than a pawn shop. More than one of them shops too, right? So down here at the pawn shop. All right, guys, let me finish this up. And here's the last time I bought metal, guys, was 2020. That's the last time I bought any silver. This is a silver eagle. Just to let you know that this is not something that most people know about. This particular coin, which is very worn down by now. Look at that. It's all worn down. You can't even see her face. I have set this coin multiple times in the hands of a millionaire. This coin has been in the hands of many, more than many millionaires, and set that in their hands. I've set this in the hands of a millionaire, and they asked me where I got it. Where do you get those from? They didn't know where to get any of these from. And they had millions of dollars, brothers and sisters. So just think because somebody has millions of dollars doesn't mean they have any of these. Oh, no. The silver market is a $900 billion market cap. This is not, it's not a widely used metal, okay? So, again, don't think that everybody knows what this metal is. Another one go. Okay, so does that make sense? So I could take this coin and walk around a parking lot, pay $25 for it. I'm not telling you to do this, guys, but this could be done. This could be done. I'm not recommending you do this, guys. You could probably buy this coin for about $25 right now. For $25 right now, you could find the same buffalo at your local coin shop, APMEX, JM Bullion, SD Bullion, Money Metals Exchange, Monument Metals, any one of these places that sell metal, and pick this coin up for $25. And you can walk around in a parking lot and ask people, say, hey, I need a loan. I need to get some gas money, whatever. I'm not telling you to do this, but you could walk around and say, hey, I need some gas money. I don't want to just ask for free. You know, I have this piece of metal. You know, you can pull some salesman pitch or say your grandpa gave it to you or something. I don't know, you know, whatever. But if you walked around and you had one of these and you bought it for $25, I can guarantee you could walk around. I told you I put this one in the hands of millionaires. They asked me where to get it. This is a silver eagle, the most widely recognized 1 ounce silver coin on the earth, on the planet. But I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about this bullion round that's 3 nines fine silver, okay? And it's $25 for one of these. So you could take this around to a parking lot, like a Walmart parking lot, and not beg. You say, how much will you give me for this? I need to get some gas money. I almost guarantee you most people will either tell you they don't want it because they don't think it's worth anything, or they'll tell you they think it's worth about $50 to $100. Most people don't know this is $25 right now. And it's been 50 before, 3 times now in history. Well, for one of these, got up to $50 for an eagle. But I know that sounds silly, but most people don't know what it's worth. I'm telling you, I put this in the hands of millionaires, and they don't know what it's worth. They ask me where to get it. I'm telling you, you can walk into a parking lot, buy a tube of silver, and I don't recommend doing this, guys. But you could walk around with that, pay $25 for it, and walk around to a parking lot and ask for some help with gas. Hey, I'm not begging. And are you doing them a disservice if they give it to you for $50? They probably don't own any silver. That's probably their very first piece of silver they've ever owned, guys. So I'm not recommending you do that, but I'm telling you right now you can take this because nobody knows the price. I'm just trying to prove a point, guys. My point is people don't know the price of metal. People do not know the price of metal. They just don't. And like I said, you can try it. I don't recommend doing it, but I guarantee I could walk down to my local parking lot at the gas station, walk around with this coin and say, oh, my grandpa gave me this. I don't want to get rid of it, but I need to pay for some gas or whatever. I need some money for food. I need it to pay the end of my, my rent or my land payment. I need some whatever. I need some propane to put in my buddy heater. You know what I'm saying? So I don't recommend doing that, but I'm telling you, that's how ignorant most people are in America. So if you live in America, from Ireland, wow, on the other side of the drink, though. Do you get the point what I'm making of this, guys? My point is people don't know the price of this metal. So I would say on an average, most people would give you $50 to $100 for this piece of metal if you asked them. Was it real? Well, yeah, look at it. Can you pay for your groceries with it? Yeah, you can go right outside the grocery store and ask somebody, you numbskull their heart, and get the cash and walk in the store. Are you a fool? You just open up your mouth and spew nonsense? Have you been listening to anything I'm saying? No, you're foolish, and you speak before you even think. So you could take this around to a grocery. I've done this right in front of a grocery store. That's how I know this, because one time I ran out of gas and I had to do the same thing. And I didn't want to ask anybody for anything for free. I went up to an old man. I had one in my pocket. I said, hey, I got this from my grandpa. I don't want to ask anything for free. What do you give me for it? Silver was $18 back then, an ounce, guys. He said, I'll give you $50 for it. I gave him the coin. Then he gave the coin back to me and said, no, I want you to have the coin back. I don't want, if your grandpa gave that to you, I don't want to take it from you. And I felt, I was like, I'm about to come clean. He's like, just take it back. Don't answer any questions, young man. Go get the gas I need, because I needed gas. So I pulled my pocket piece of silver out. And instead of being a beggar, which is nothing wrong for asking, I used this piece of silver, or a silver round. It was a buffalo round as well that I had. What I'm saying? So I did the same thing in front of a grocery store to get $50, more than twice of what I paid for the metal. And I ended up getting my round back. So see how foolish people are? They open up their mouth and they spew just a bunch of, it's like a vomit tsunami that comes out of their mouth. Vomit tsunami. It's a tsunami of vomit that comes out of their mouth to me. So, why do you not buy a fake one and do the same thing? You're sickening, Heart. See, you're filthy, disgusting, more vomit spewing from your mouth, man. Look at that. Oh, go cheat somebody. Cheat them. Go buy a fake one. Pound sand. Get out of here. You do the works of your father, the devil. You know that? And please, somebody moderate him, because I don't want to keep my company with vipers. I'm not going to throw my pearls down here in the mud in front of this swine. So, filthy. I was explaining myself, guys, on how I, Okay, so there we go. I'll field one of the questions, and I got to go. So I got to get something to eat. This wood stove's starting to die down a little bit, and I need to throw another. I might need to go grab some more wood for the end of the night. I hope you guys took something. Did you guys learn anything? I'm a silver bug, been in the silver game for decades. Hope you learned lots of little things. Most people don't know anything about silver, guys. Nothing. So I hope you were able to pick up a point or two. None of this is economic advice, just to cover my own rear end. Again, I haven't bought a piece of silver since 2020. I constantly go around and try to bring people to this. There has been multiple times, guys, in the past, I've gotten somebody so interested in silver that I just gave them the round that I had in my pocket. I've done that so many times and just gave them the round. And I guarantee those people probably started their stack, so I've given away, I ate all the chili. It's all gone. But I had that for breakfast. But about lunchtime here. But as you can see, this is the last coin that I have purchased. Honestly, it's 2020 is the last time I purchased any silver. So it's been a while since I bought any, but I still keep up on the markets and whatnot. So I'll put it out there. I haven't bought any silver in, for almost 5 years. If that was any good information or value, I would go with iodine. Hey, do me a favor, Josh. Go look at Canadian Prepper. His company sells a supply bag, like a fold-up bag. I would recommend buying one of those kits. You could do your own. You can do your own, but some of the convenience of trying to order this, that, the other, these kits that they sell are, med kits, med bags, fold up. Some of them. I might look over that Canadian Prepper and see what he's got. He'd probably be your best bet on medical supplies. And they also have that company that he can order from if you want to order over the meds, antibiotics and stuff too. He has that company as well that you can, some stuff they're not selling in the US anymore. They made all pet, like mocks and fish mocks and all the antibiotics and stuff illegal now. So, and they don't sell that kind. They sell actual, prescription type medication. So if you need to stock up on your meds for maybe, somebody's like diabetic, and there's things, again, I think that you can find from that supply company. So that's what I want to recommend. Iodine, I would definitely have iodine, something to clean your wounds, tourniquet, something to stop bleeding. You might find something that when you perform CPR mask, just some of the basics, I don't know if you know how to insert an IV, an IV bag, an IV, anyways, some of the basics, some of your butterfly stitches, suture stuff too, gauze, some of your basic first field aid, first responder type. And, again, I have combat medic, certified training and all that. So that's what, you carry. is your basics. You need to stop the bleeding, stop the bleeding. Basically that's your main concern when you're performing first aid, or clear the airway, right? To clear somebody's airway before first aid, tilt their head back, clear the airway, right? All the different, I'm not going to go into the whole CPR thing, but Canadian Prepper, I think it'd be your best bet on the best medical. He don't carry no cheap crap either, so I'm not going to think he's going to be the best price. He carries the best product. He's not trying to carry the best price. He's trying to get the best product for best bang for your buck, so to speak. So, okay, guys, let's call that a day. And for now, and I'll be back in here before the end of the day or something. Let me take a little break, do some studying, check up on what's going on this crazy world that we live in here. And I will be back. And anybody wants to make a contribution to the chat, I do have a Predestined for Light Cash App in my link. Yeah, I'm going to do that tonight. I will do that tonight because I did an update, Josh. I will be doing that tonight. I actually went over and did a couple more of the couple little updates on it. So I'm ready to go back after that again. That will be part of the next lesson. We'll do a little silver rock, and then we'll go straight into the lesson. You bet. You'll get it if you show up here again. And I won't be back too late. I might study for an hour or two, but I won't be all night. I'll be back on here. So again, if any of this hit any value to you guys, I do have that Cash App link in the description. I haven't bought a piece of silver in 4 years. I'd like to have one of those Silver Eagles, the new ones. That's probably, if I would buy any kind of silver right now, I'd probably go buy one of those new Silver Eagles, even though I don't like them, just because I don't have one. So anybody want to help me buy a piece of silver? There's a link in the description of my Cash App there, and there's a PayPal. So a gentleman was able to give me the funds so that I did not have to secure and go take that pawn shop, the generator to the pawn shop. So I was really super stoked about that. Made sure he just didn't want me to get ripped off for the pawn shop. He's really concerned about me taking it to the pawn shop, and getting ripped off, not being able to return, get it back, that type thing. So I have made my land payments for this month, and I appreciate everybody who helped me out, after getting all my money drained off both my credit cards. I spent 16 hours with Cash App, and they're not going to give me my money back, even though I filed a police report, even though the guy was caught, even though he stole all my money on my Cash App card, and he was caught. They still won't give me my charges. I spent 18 hours on the phone, disputing and all that. And still, I'm not going to get it back. They can't even file it anymore because their system won't allow another dispute to be filed. So not getting that money back. And I'm so glad that my brothers and sisters stepped up and helped and tied to this ministry and helped me get through this difficult time. So physically, I've been down, for a while, and I've been able to take this break and come in here and teach and keep going with this word. So I appreciate you guys so much. It's been a blessing to me to have this family here and to help me out through this tough time. Remember, I'm not sitting around. I'm always trying to sell something. I'm just struggling a little bit because of the overlay videos and stuff that I'm putting out that are destroying my channel, so to speak. But it's okay. This channel is still growing over here, and by dispersing weight. Yep, that's the only way I made it through it. And he just right at the right time. And you said, I really thought about you. It wasn't, obviously you've contributed quite a bit, to this ministry, dispersing weight. But I really thought about you when that person provided that last, leg to get me through this month. I was like, man, with dispersing weight, a couple of these other, some of the stuff I've been able to actually secure some funding and stuff, put it towards this. Man, right by the skin of my teeth, he said the Lord would provide, and he sure did, and he always does. That's what I was telling you guys. Hey, I know he will. So what a blessing. And here we go again. Got to work on next month, but you see a little sunshine coming through the window. Hopefully this weather will break out here and I can get to working on some of these spring things. Like I said, I have a couple line trimmers, a jumping jack, I don't know how I'm going to do this off the internet. I'm going to have to figure something else out. This internet's not working. I think I can maybe I can find somebody else, again. That's why I said I wish I had a partner out here. Not like that. I'm not going to whine, guys, but I wish I had somebody else, they could help me by using their address or something. I could still keep going or moving out here, but I'm going to keep pushing on this. I'm going to keep coming in here and try to carry my cross every day possible. If I'm not working out here on the property and put my treasure up in heaven, because the days are getting shorter, and we're inching closer, 224 days towards that 10-24 celestial alignment. So I believe my life will be changed well before then. I don't honestly believe this is the peaceful time, and I was very overwhelmed this morning with the blessings of what he gave me, the knowledge, and said, you better appreciate these, nice, comfortable days to be able to go on this internet, Tracy. Get on there and do your job, man. Do what you're supposed to do. Go spread this word. Spread it now before it all gets shut down. You're telling everybody the coming of this destruction of this country, so go tell it. Go blare it to the world. Doesn't matter what anybody thinks of you. I've revealed things to you that nobody else is talking about. You're not special, Tracy, but you have been given something that I haven't given anybody else. Nobody else is revealing this, so don't sit there and waste your time being a crybaby and being alone, and suffer, and your reward will be in heaven. So, okay, guys, that's where I'm at right now. Thank you so much. I'm going to try to respond less and less to the trolls, guys, and just kind of really focus on this ministry. I don't want to ignore you guys, but I appreciate earlier when I was overcome a little bit by the Spirit that I quit reading comments. I do that sometimes. When the Spirit takes over, the word takes over. It's in my head. I'm think chapters and certain, definitions and things like that. So I don't always respond to the comment. That might happen a little more often, guys. I need to quit responding to the trolls as much and feeding them, and keep my comments towards the body. More important questions. I don't need to bounce off of anything. There's enough of the lesson to teach at this point in time. Just really focus on this overlay map and the gospel, and kind of keep, I'm going to still talk about this. Remember, I stand up against the law because he said, conform to my image. And that's what he did. He stood up against the law. So I can't stop doing that. So there's always going to be a little bit of a rough side when you come in here. I'm not a stand down guy. Evil flourishes while horrible and terrible men stand around and do nothing. The good men don't stand around. They do something about it. They speak up. Ephesians 5, be not partakers in their unfruitful works of darkness. Expose them. So it's what he commands me to do. He's my commander. So I'm always going to have that side, but I really want to try to trim this down and keep sharing the blessing of this message so that it can get into the ears of who it is that he has chosen. You know what I'm saying? To get this message. So it's such a blessing with this Aleph symbol, with this judgment, and I'll have more. That's just April 8th. There's more to come. I'm sure he'll reveal more things to me as the days progress. But I do believe that the internet as we know it, America as we know it, our days are limited. I do not think that the United States of America has a whole nother year. Maybe with that 525 celestial alignment, but probably not. I don't think America will be America in a year from now. You can think what you want. You call me crazy, but I think I know what I see. So, and I will substantiate my evidence when I come back on why I think this country is set for judgment. The system itself, it'll still be America, like, the COVID came and went, but, it'll be the end of America as we know it. And I don't believe the end that I'm calling for is the end of this. It'll still be around, but the end of this system, the end of the petrodollar, the end of the SWIFT system, the end of the money changers. We're not going to go kick nobody's butts no more. We're going to be the one pushed to the back of the line. So we'll still be here. We'll just be at the back of the line. So enjoy these wonderful days that we have right now, guys, before the sun takes down the grid, before there's not people scrambling in the streets for food, before people aren't banging down your door. You know what I'm saying? Well, that's idiots if there's civil war. That's an opposition, and they'll all get thrown in hell because we're not supposed to fight anybody. And that's exactly what they want everybody to do, is fight with each other. So I rebuke that. Move out to the country. If I got plenty of land, if you want to get away, come get a hold of me or something. So got more than what I know what to do with. So, all right, much blessings, much love. Thank you for this blessing, Father. Thank you for the eyes and the ears that you gave me here today. with my body, with this Christ, with the body of Christ. Thank you so much for the comments, and I will see you guys on the next live stream. Okay. Much love. Yeah, they'll fight. Remember, it says they'll kill each other. They'll kill each other, Panda. You're right. That's the rider on the red horse. So I'm not trying to disagree with you. They're going to do it. I know it's coming. We've seen the rider on the white horse. I mean, in the White House, the one with the crown that brought you the crown and the toxon and the bow and warp speed. Sagittarius. We've seen the rider on the white horse, and the heavens declared it. So coming next is the red horse, and you're absolutely right. They will kill each other, take each other's flesh. Unfortunately, it's just written. So get out of the way of it if you can. Be meek and find yourself away from society as far as you can. You know what I'm saying? So, all right, much love, guys. Let me go get something to eat, use the bathroom. This coffee's pushing through me right now. Thank you for your eyes and ears. Thank you, Father, for the blessing to this platform still be up. I feel like I really push the envelope. I really piss off these people on this platform. So I'm blessed to still have it here and be able to talk to you guys and continue to spread the good news of the coming of the King. All right. We'll talk about that when I come back. All right. Stay in the Word. Descriptions for anybody who wants to support this High Desert Grace Ministry. I have a PayPal and a CashApp link. Stay in the Word. Thank you, Father, for this blessing in this live stream. All glory to the Father. Always agape.